bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, all that good stuff. We might get a little political, but in today's situation, we're gonna get a lot of political. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including this huge victory that we have, that we taking a victory lap, taking multiple ones over New York. Zohran Mamdani has been elected New York City mayor. We're going to get into all of that. Plus, there's been some people out here, celebrities, who crashing out over it. Debra Messon done lost, was left to her ever-loving damn mind. Lala Anthony got slammed for backing Andrew Cuomo because they were showing the pictures and everything. The View did talk about the whole situation. I'm gonna light into one of them broads' ass, Miss Haynes. We got to talk about her. Plus, Anna Navarro basically said that if Trump wants to run a third term, then Obama needs to run a third term. So we'll get into that. Plus, Avengers Doomsday directors hinted at a connection between Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Doctor Doom. They released this little video and stuff online, which got a lot of people speculating what's the tea regarding that. Plus, Warner Brothers Discovery merging with Paramount could reportedly trigger a presumption of illegality, which I'm hoping is true because I don't want them to get it. Plus, Paramount apparently, because I was thinking about this, I'm like, with all the celebrities like Mark Ruffalo and Javier Bardem, when he went on The View, when they cut him off over when he was talking about Palestine and everything, I was like, I wonder if this is going to affect them getting work, similar to kind of like what happened to Melissa Barrera. Well, apparently, Paramount now is being owned by David Ellison, and I've been telling y'all that they're trying to lean a lot to the right in regards of a lot of their political views and indoctrinating our movies with a lot of those right-wing ideologies. People don't want to listen to me, but apparently, whatever. So apparently, word on the curb is they have a blacklist of stars that they will not have in their films because with them being pro-Palestine, they're using that line of they're anti-Semitic. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Rosalía is walking back comments she made over Bad Bunny. I mentioned this in passing yesterday, but now it's a story because apparently she made a comment about Bad Bunny choosing to make his music only in Spanish while she did like 50,000 damn languages on this upcoming album Lux. We'll get into that. Plus, if you didn't see the clip, I got it because I don't want people taking things out of context, only getting a piece of it. I want to show y'all the whole thing. So we have that. Plus, Blake Lively, things ain't looking good for her. Remember yesterday, I cleaned up the whole lot of these A-list, blogger lies that everybody was talking about that just about Downey lost, Blake won, blah, blah, blah. She lost again. And, we did that story yesterday, but we have a new one where basically there was a YouTuber that she went after that was saying that they was doing like a smear campaign or whatever. She lost that one. The judge tossed it again. So we'll get into that. Plus, I didn't even know we need a poll for this, but apparently 43% of Gen Z prefer YouTube and TikTok to traditional television. So we'll break that story down and how micro dramas are becoming quite all the rage amongst Gen Zers. And then we got to also get into this tea regarding Manchester Pride because remember, couple of episodes ago we did talk about Manchester Pride and the fact that they owed a lot of people money. Well, chill, not only because a drag queen came out and made a comment about it, but apparently, Nelly Furtado and Olly Alexander, their payment that they've yet to get. Pay me what you owe me, in the words of Miss Riri. Bitch better have my money. Well, apparently they don't, because I got the price tag of how much they're owed by Manchester Pride because they didn't get paid their coins. So we have that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you can, please do me a solid. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that we when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. You know, all that, I appreciate everybody that comes in and watches the show, keys with me during the live feed. Also, that hits like and subscribe and always wants to come back for repeat viewings and all that other good stuff. And I'm sorry I'm late, but as 5 minutes before I was set to go live, I was like, oh no, I need me some tea. So I had to go. That's why I'm late. I had to make me some tea. Because as y'all probably can hear, I'm still a little under the weather. Then I started feeling like I had a case of chills. I'm like, wait a minute now. I know we're not going into like a whole flu situation. And thank the Lord, I actually went and got a flu shot last month at my job. So um this weather consistently back and forth with the changing and everything, it's not doing me any favors. So um yeah, hold on. Let me hit that situation there because um yeah, hold on. Let me I was like, should I go through the comments? Yeah, let's go through the comments, Chair. You said thoughts on the and then we'll get to the show. Thoughts on the recently announced Miss Piggy movie. Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone. Yeah, they're rumored they're going to be a part of it, may star and produce. There's also, let's not forget about Cole Escola, who is, created that show Oh Mary, which got rave reviews. I think he won Tonys for it. I didn't watch the Tonys this year, but I think he won the Tony for it. And shout out to Darren Chris because his Broadway play that was wrapped in controversy because he was the first not because he was the first Filipino American Asian, Filipinos, Asian, whatever. First Filipino American to win like a Tony in the lead male category. But after he stepped down, they put a white man in that role and people were pissed. So shout out to him because he's coming back tonight after the big outrage. So I guess we was like, okay, we gotta get through this controversy. Let's get him back in and all this other stuff. But to answer your question, because Cola Scola, I don't know, I went on a whole Broadway rant. He did Oh Mary. He's also going to be in One Piece season 3. I just heard about that. That was announced the other day. Shout out also to Sholo Maridueña, who was just cast in One Piece season 3. So One Piece about to be lit with all these people cast up in there. So to answer your question, I'm here for it. I love Miss Piggy. I did love watching the Muppet Show growing up, so that was my zhuzh. I've always loved Miss Piggy and her sassy behind, and how she was loyal to her Kermie. So I'm looking forward to it. What else? Only if we learn where her. Oh yeah, because remember when she used to don't mess with Miss Piggy. She know how to fight. Happy for you in your city that Mamdani won. Yeah, we are definitely happy out here, but we can't keep our eye off the ball. Like the real fight begins, I say today, or better yet, January 1st when he's sworn in. So, but we'll get into that. Oh yeah, shout out to California for passing Prop 50s. Like y'all was trying that mess out in Texas. So actually, shout out to Gavin Newsom for putting it on the ballot. He was like, you know what? We're not gonna come out here and be like them slick ass freaking politicians, Republicans, and try to steal seats. We're gonna actually put up the vote. Y'all gonna go out and vote. And if you want to see us do the same thing with the um, redistricting, then we'll do that. And they put it up. People went out. I told you a friend of mine just took a picture of himself on the line going to vote for it. And it passed. So shout out to y'all and shout out to Cali. It's people not here for the mega mess. It was like I think people just didn't realize how serious Donald Trump and his dementia-ridden, tirades was going to be until now we're 9, 10 months into it, damn near a year into the foolishness. And people are, oh, hell no. We don't want to live in an authoritarian society. Let's pop the balloons. Magical Mermaids in the building. Carl's in the building. I ain't got to subscribe, Paramount. Wait, you saying you ain't going to subscribe, Paramount? Oh, yeah. So I was wondering, because didn't I say that yesterday? I was like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Fantastic Four is on Disney Plus, and nobody corrected me on it. But now you telling me today. So, and I have Disney Plus. So, but I didn't look because it's like I pay for it, but I don't even be watching nothing on there. Oh, well, thank you. Speaking of which, I'm probably gonna be coughing a lot like I did yesterday. Got to push through. It's my little, Magic Kingdom Disney mug. I was planning on watching Fantastic Four today on Disney Plus, but I want to finish Gilmore Girls first. Yeah. Well, you almost done with Gilmore Girls? Fantastic Four was a good movie. I wanted more action, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I went to see it in Dolby. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go. Wait, wait, is tomorrow? No, tomorrow's Thursday. Damn, where's the time going? Huh? Friday, I'm gonna go see Predator Badlands, which I'm hearing great things about. So I'm excited for that movie. And the guy that actually plays the Predator, I was like, okay, how you doing? Because he's been doing the promotional rounds with Elle Fanning, and I was like, oh, so that's what he looked like outside of all that makeup and prosthetics. He said, I used to be scared of animals from not scared of animals from the Muppets. But yeah, but he's quite energetic, I guess we could say. So I could understand why you was scared of him. But anyway, I needed that laugh before we get into this political stuff. So without further ado, let me hit. Oh, I almost forgot to hit the banner. Let me hit the banner. And now let's get into topic number one. So a huge win for New York. Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, what was it? It was Virginia, I think, did well. California did well. And damn, what was the other one? Was it Pennsylvania or something or another? I can't remember all of them. But there was a lot of big wins last night. I did hear because I did watch a bit of The View earlier. So I can say today because of Zoran, I've been watching everything regarding this story and like what everybody's saying. I wanted inquiring minds want to know, even shows I don't particularly care for, like The View. But um they were saying that people in if I'm what was it, Alabama were upset because or was it Kentucky? It was one of them. They were upset because it was like, how come we can't go out and vote? Because I'm like, there's nothing going on in your district. What are you talking about? Like, it's not a national election for a situation like particularly like with the president, whatever presidency. So I hope it was like, something that if you were going to vote, it was because you were liking being you wanted to be a part of the moment. Because I have been watching a lot of people on social media who've been rooting for New York to be the guinea pig, and that's what I've been saying for the longest. I wouldn't mind New York being the catalyst or the guinea pig to show other states that if you listen to the people, if you actually cut yourself to the people and tell them that I work for you, I don't work for APAC, I don't work for Wall Street, I don't work for these corporate oligarchs who Bloomberg and a lot of them spent a shit ton of money trying to destroy Zoran's campaign. But we remained tough, we remained resilient, and we made sure we held the line. And now at the end of the day, oh, they were saying New Jersey. Okay, thank you. So it was New Jersey. I was like, I knew it was something. Because if it was Pennsylvania, I would have been like, y'all could have voted Lurch ass out. And if I'm talking about Lurch, I'm talking about Fetterman. Because he definitely needs to go. So, because he's basically someone who's a Democrat in he's a wolf, he's a Republican in like wolf in sheep's clothing. So he's like a Republican in a Democrat's cloth. And that's how a lot of them are. And I feel like that's what's going to happen with people like Cuomo. Because remember, Cuomo ran against Zoran in the primary as a Democrat. But then when the Democratic nominee became Zoran, then all of a sudden Cuomo wanted to run well, he is a conservative based on the attitude. You ran as an independent, and I don't like that because independent, we always expect that to be more like the Green Party or the party that is against the status quo Democrats, which would be Republicans and well, I say status quo politicians. Maybe I should say it like that, which would be the Democrats and the Republicans. And then also when you looked at Cuomo, which I had to laugh when I was listening to his speech because I'm like, first of all, why are you talking so damn slow? And then number two, you were trying to play this whole thing that we are one and we're all for the Muslims and this and this. And I said, well, that wasn't how you was running your campaign. You was running the most Islamic phobic campaign that I've ever seen in my lifetime. So you were running your campaign on trying to dismantle this guy, making him come across as like some sort of a jihadist or whatever the case is, which is another thing that broad Debra Messing called him. We're gonna get into her stink ass later on in the show. But you were running this campaign like, oh no, don't vote for him because he's gonna, you're making it seem like you're putting a terrorist in the White House, and I mean not the White House, in Gracie Mansion. So when you're doing all of this, how do you think people are gonna react to that? But the good thing is, a lot of New Yorkers, we were like, oh, we see through the BS. Like you literally trying to slam this man, but what exactly do you have on your plate that you want to come to us as people and say, this is what I want to offer you all in New York, which would be stabilize rent because the rent is too goddamn high in New York. Why every year y'all keep upgrading it or upping it? People can't even afford to keep their head above water in New York. Everything is going up except people's working wages. And now we're in a situation where people are losing their jobs. So Zoran actually came with a plan. He went door to door. He went to places that normally a lot of people won't go. So he didn't stay in his bubble like the Kamalas and so many others, where it's like, oh no, why would I even want to try to reach across the aisle to those other people when it's like, oh, we could just depend, we expect black people, this, that, and the other to come and just vote for us on this day because I'm black like y'all, or I've given y'all a little bit of crumbs. And because I showed y'all I did just enough, y'all took it. But we at a point no more. We're at a point where we're not about wanting the little bit of crumbs. We want all the crumbs. So, especially when there's no crumbs left, because the 1% are eating up everything and barely leaving us with anything to survive on. So, and then we see how y'all are cut to a lot of these corporations. And then don't even get me started on Van Jones and that cooning that he was doing after Zohran won. That's why I'm like, shout out to Charlemagne for giving him donkey of the day, because he definitely deserves it. He's such a clown. But anyway, let's get into the thing, because I'll probably have more to say on this as I go through the article. So, the Associated Press called Mamdani the winner less than an hour after polls closed on Tuesday night, according to the New York Times, with 75% of the votes counted. Mamdani leads with 860,327 votes, which was 50.4%. Cuomo trails with 704,866 votes, 41.3%. And Sliwa is in a distant third with 128,400 votes, 7.5%. Here's what I think. And it's funny how Donald Trump is somebody, he's dangerous and he's all these crazy things. And it's like, during the first two terms, the first times, well, the two times that you ran, you never made it over 50%. I actually think that Zoran numbers is more than 50%. 2 million people came out yesterday and voted in New York City, with Zoran accumulating over 1 million votes. So it's funny how like these numbers are saying 860,327. I think that was the numbers that they tallied, because they said less than an hour after, the polls closed. I do think there was more that weren't accounted for, but they were at this point like, okay, the numbers is just what it is, that Zoran freaking won regardless. But I do think there was more than 860,327 people that came out and voted for Zohran Mamdani. So they also said Mamdani established himself as an early favorite after a shocking victory against the perceived frontrunner Cuomo. In June's Democratic primary, early voting polls on Sunday showed the 34-year-old leading with 40% of the vote, while Cuomo and Sliwa earned 34% and 24 respectively. And this is what I don't understand is that, sir, you got your ass beat during the primary. What you thought that the tide was going to turn by the time you got into the general election? Like, no, you were a loser the moment you lost the Democratic nominee during the primary. Zoran's quick-witted self wiped the floor with you. You couldn't keep up. And you thought being a status quo Democrat or status quo politician and having millions of dollars of going to all these fundraisers and having all that money backing you, that was going to be enough to get you a seat at the table. And it's like, it may get you a seat at a bunch of rich people table, but not the seat at the Gracie Mansion table. Because we told you during the primary and we told you during the general election, we don't want your ass. We don't want you running New York. And we already know, like, the minute you would have became mayor, you wouldn't have been for us. You wouldn't have been trying to do things to make New York City great for those of us who were born and bred here, that have put roots down in New York, which is one of the greatest, and there's no shade to anybody else, but it is one of the greatest cities in the world, New York City, and all the boroughs that surround it. So, which is why a lot of people like coming here. We are also the financial capital, which is why they're scared. And why I found it funny that during their debate, or I think it was their last debate before, the big voting situation, where Cuomo was running around talking about that, oh, well, I don't understand why he want to be the mayor when mayors don't really have that much power. Well, if that's the case, why the fuck you running? Like, how you going to sit up there and tell him that, oh, well, this situation, oh, niggas don't have a whole lot of power. Why you want the job? So what is a vanity project to you? Then why the fuck you want it? You would have just luxuriated down in the Hamptons with your family. And that's that. But no, you want the relevancy. You like the idea of being a socialite. You want to be in the spotlight. You want to be, but they're like, oh no, grandpa, we done with old people running doing things the way that y'all want to do. We tired of trying to run things the way that the Kamala Harrises are telling us that we're supposed to run our campaign. And quiet as it's kept, you ran your campaign the way she did, which is why you both lost. Because when you were running out here, what you did was instead of speaking to the people and trying to unite the people, you ran over there to the Republicans. Oh, well, we hate Trump, but we're going to run to these other Republicans, the Liz Cheneys and all them. Well, her father was an asshole. Don't even get me started on him. That warmongering motherfucker, may he rest in piss. And I don't feel no ways tired about that man dying. I know some people be up here, well, we can't speak ill of the dead. Yes, we can when that man who died, was behind hundreds of thousands of people getting killed off of a lie. Weapons of mass destruction, which they never recovered. So if we're gonna come up here and tell it, we gotta tell it correctly. And so fuck Dick Cheney and the horse he rode in on. Now, Mamdani forged his victory with a platform built for the working class New Yorker, promising rent stability, free public transportation, no cost childcare, and city owned grocery stores. Cuomo, his closest competitor, attempted to leverage his experience as governor while pushing issues like public safety, city maintenance, and education, which is like, we don't give a shit about. Well, I can't say we don't care about that because, like, public safety, what does that mean? Like, oh, so your public safety means that, excuse me, we're going to turn New York into some police state, kind of like having cops on every corner. And not only do we have cops, but I also see, if you ever come into Times Square, you see military with semi-automatic weapons walking around. There's even been places that aren't even in the city where I see military presence. So just the perception of this whole authoritarianism, which we have been seeing long before Zohran even was running. This is kind of what you want New York to be. This whole sense of fear mongering, which is kind of like what Trump and him is trying to do with the country. So it's like, no, we don't want that. Yes, we want protection. Yes, we want the police to do their job, but we want you to do your job correctly. So that's all people are asking for. And then the free buses or whatever. They were talking about how they gonna make buses free? Easy. I'm sure there's other places that's doing free buses. And also, quiet as it's kept, if you've actually ridden the buses in New York, I can count on, well, I can tell you, there's a lot of people that just get on a fucking bus and don't pay. So it could be done. If there are a lot of people that barely pays to get on the bus and the bus is still be running, is the bus still running? I was just thinking about that. Shout out to RuPaul. But it was like, if I be seeing mad people getting on the bus, and it's not just kids, it's grown ass people too. Even though I could have sworn that kids get metro, like little bus passes or whatever. Because when I was going to school, um, I used to get like a little green Metro card that I would get from school, and I would take that on the bus before my parent. There was points where I would actually take the train and the bus and stuff, but then there was a point where my parents made me take the cheese bus. But there was also a point where I did take, the bus or whatever, and I could have sworn that kids get Metro cards. I barely see them with them things, so I don't know what they be getting at this point. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, make the buses free. Now, regarding the trains, I don't know how they're gonna do that. They said free buses. He ain't said nothing about subway. Y'all still got to pay y'all way to get on that, or I guess what a lot of people are gonna do is just hop it like they normally do. But I did notice they replaced, like, they got these dividers and they got these sharp tops, so it's like real high, and then they got these little it looked like the sharp part of a chainsaw or whatever, not a chainsaw, but a regular saw. They got that on the as dividers in the subways now. So they thinking that, you'll get painful stuff in your hands while y'all trying to hop the train. These motherfuckers don't care. They will find a way. It's like in New York, if there's a will, there's a way. We gonna find a way to get where we got to go without paying. But me, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I do not just hop trains and things. So, although Mamdani has earned the trust of New York City, some of his fellow Democrats were hesitant to back his platform, which some critics deemed as outwardly socialist. Yeah, that's like people like APAC Shakur, Fatback Chuck Schumer, um, who, no shade, but I think we need to vote their ass out. And I already know, like, the CNNs and a bunch of other places, they've been working in overtime getting these corporate centrist Democratic voices to come on to slam Mamdani. It's not going to work. Because here's the thing, like we have an article coming up later on that 43% of Gen Z prefer YouTube and TikTok to traditional TV and streaming. Your message is not getting out to the young people. And shout out to the young people, and that would be Gen Z, because I'm not Gen Z, I'm a Zennial, half millennial, half Gen X. So I'm on the border. Um, when it was a lot of Gen Z that came out and voted for Mamdani. So shout out to a lot of the young people that came out and voted, because they're the ones who are haphazardly being affected by a lot of the policies that's going on right now, where it's like these kids, they're barely making money with the jobs that they have. A lot of jobs are being cut because, AI or whatever the case is, or, well, I guess basically, yeah, AI. And a lot of even retail jobs, they're being replaced with machines, self checkouts and things of that nature. So how are these kids going to be able to make a living? A lot of people can't even afford to rent an apartment, let alone buy a home. So these are things that Zohran is talking about. It's like, yeah, we need to make New York City affordable again. That would be a good slogan. Make New York City affordable again. Like MAGA. We can come up with our own slogans. So, um, but we don't need their endorsements, because what it goes to show. And the funny thing is, if you notice, Zoran adopted a lot of Bernie's policies, and we need more Bernie Sanders like politicians to be around for the long haul, because Bernie can't be doing this forever. Bernie is in his 80s. We need the next generation to adapt those policies and be like, yeah, the old guard is out. Those policies no longer work. They don't suit us. They haven't suited us for a long time. Quiet as it's kept, I don't think those policies have suited us for the past 30 years. But now it's gotten so ugly and blatantly disgusting, especially with this administration literally just taking a wrecking ball to our democracy. I think people see through it now more than ever. So at the end of the day, I say congratulations to you, Zoran. I know a lot of Republicans have widely rejected you. Whatever happened, I just want to know what happened to the vote blue no matter who Democrats. Because y'all said the vote blue no matter who, right? But I guess unless you adapt policies where you actually have to come and walk the walk and talk the talk and do the work, where you want to give people things like universal health care. Why are we paying for health care? And here's the thing, healthcare supposed to be going up to like $2,000, $1,200, that sort of thing. If Trump was to get his way, and the Democrats would come to his situation because of the government shutdown. Like the only way, if the government shut down and they agree on Trump's demands, he gets the gut health care. Oh, a lot of people gonna be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. So I don't mind us being the guinea pig for other people in other states to be like, oh, so New York did it. Oh, let's try this in Connecticut. Let's try this in Wisconsin. Let's try this in Iowa. Let's try this in and a lot of those red states you flip them blue. So I'm here for it. I'm looking forward. Am I expecting him to be perfect? No. Speaking of which, there was this post that I had posted earlier that I think really sums up. Oh wait, so they said that Zoran Mamdani won young men 18 to 29 about 40 points. So that's why I wanted to let y'all know, because I said shout out to the Gen Zers and that sort of thing. And a lot of people think that they're Trumpers. And I don't know if they're necessarily Trumpers. I just think a lot of young people believed the bullshit that Trump was out here pushing. And it could have been due to them watching Joe Rogan and Andrew Scholes, a lot of two morons that don't, wouldn't know the difference between piss or piss water. That would be Budweiser if they drunk it. So it's just like you got them two morons. So they're not they don't know. But now they see the reality. That's what it is. Also, this whole thing about Zionism is done. I think these young people and a lot of young Jewish voters too went out and voted for Zoran. They're over the whole Israel cucking Zionism bullshit that a lot of these politicians, particularly um, Cuomo and Eric Adams, which sidebar, why the fuck was Eric Adams still on the ballot? To vote yesterday, he was on the ballot. I'm like, you dropped out, sir, unless them papers was printed before he decided to drop out. But I was like, Why are you on the ballot? And I think dumbasses actually voted for him because I'm from what somebody told me that on one of the things they actually showed a Eric Adams vote. I'm like, why am I voting for somebody who's not even running? Like he dropped out and people still went voting for his ass. Excuse me. So yeah, and he then they said also what this is why he won. He did so by standing for economic justice, for trans rights, for immigrant rights, for labor rights, for Palestinian rights, and for diversity. And see, this is a thing that y'all need to listen to, Democrats. You don't run away from policy. You embrace it. You stand 10 toes down on what you believe in. You got to stand for something. You get to the, oh my God, the Republicans are making fun of us. We can't, we gotta back away from the trans when the trans and the LGBT community was voting for us. No, you can't be doing that. You got to stand 10 toes down on something. And that's why people like these MAGA Republicans, these centrist Democrats, these status quo Democrats, and even big back Cadillac Donald Trump, Kenkel's McTaco tits. Shout out to Jennifer Welch, who I just heard moved to New York, by the way. Shout out to her. Hopefully we get to run into each other or something on the train. I will say hello, Miss Thomas. I haven't run into her. But where was I getting at? Oh, so he showed like, I'm not scared of you. Because he even said in his speech, he was like, Donald Trump, and I know you watch it because we all know Donald Trump watches. He don't work. He do it. All he do is watch TV. That's all he does, and goes on live social and plays golf and causes more damage to the goddamn White House. Renovating bathrooms, fucking up the East Wing, building a new ballroom, which he want to put like a what do you call it? Like another panic room underneath it. That's the rumor. So he was like, turn up the volume. He's like, we're not scared of you. Like he just basically showed him that it's like, yeah, we're not scared of your ass. And you go and have your little temper tantrum and threaten to prevent money from coming to New York, which you don't even have authority to do that. But he runs off and thinks he can just do whatever he wants with no guardrails and nobody stops him. So fighting for diversity, fighting for everybody, and not just cucking yourself to one group of people, which is what Cuomo did, and that was to Israel. Even though last time I checked, I didn't know Israel was a part of New York City. I could have sworn Israel was all the way across the sea. Why are we worrying about what's going on over there when we need to be concerned with what's going on over here? And that's what I love about Zohran, that he focused his campaign on the New York people, the people of New York, rather than worrying about what's going on in another state. He even said when they was talking about, well, if you, one of the questions, I'm paraphrasing, like when if you jump out of, if you went out of the country, where would you go or something or another? And they was all talking about Israel and stuff. He was like, my main focus is on New York. And I don't understand why that's so hard for people to comprehend. We're running a campaign in New York City. Fuck that got to do with them people over there. I mean, we know that they have a heavy hand in a lot of our policies, and the fact that we give them millions of dollars to cause genocides. Yes, plural, genocide, not just one. Because it ain't just happening in Gaza under our dime that's supporting Netanyahu's foolishness. You even had dumbass Elon Musk getting jumping in trying to be cute about the whole Mamdani. So I was like, retard, sit your ass down. Like you can't even speak proper English. He was talking like this one every time you over here. Like his TV, like he got the rabbit teeth from, do you ever watch Stephen King's It? Well, the show is on now. When he got them two front teeth that look like the little rabbit teeth. That's what it's giving when he talk. And then his mouth be like he mumbles. You need to lay off that goddamn K2 or whatever it is that you're doing, ketamine. So yeah, they said all the corporate Democrats who said Dems can only win by running to the center or siding with Israel or Gaza or not being distracted by the trans issue should shut up and have the humility to listen. Zoran is what happens when you run for justice rather than just against Trump, which is what I've been saying for the longest. The fact of the matter is, all y'all want to do is about we hate Trump. I'm like, okay, but that's not a good enough reason to win something. Oh, we hate Trump. Okay, what they got to do with the fucking price of tea in China? I don't like his ass either, but what does that got to do with how you gonna make New York City or the world, the United States, I should say, better? That's not a good enough campaign. And that's why we lost twice. You tried to do it with Hillary, that same shit, and then you try to do it with Kamala. It didn't work. And then you thought, let's run over to the other Republicans who have been kind of left to the side because the way they were running things, it was no longer what it was. And that's why I'm starting to think Democrats, these corporate senators, Democrats, y'all are more Republican than y'all want to let on. But now people are starting to see through it. well, at least the younger generation and myself and those and anybody in between. So yeah, this was the one. This was the final post, and then we could wrap this up. So one person said, well, the post that I actually came across said, "I don't expect Zohran Mamdani to be perfect. None of us should. Perfection isn't the point of politics. Conviction is. What matters is that he believes the government should serve the people. That public service should mean something again. We have been governed for far too long by people who mistake cruelty for strength and greed for strategy. So when someone comes along who actually believes that we deserve better, that belief itself becomes the act of resistance. He won't fix everything. No singular person can. But when someone fights for the people instead of against them, it should remind us that change is not a myth." And I know a lot of people say, "Well, I don't think he's going to be able to get everything done that needs to be get done." Well, we'll see. We'll go off that bridge when we get there. But the reality is, I truly believe that Zoran is about what he says, and y'all don't have no dirt on him. He has no criminal situation. He ain't never cooked himself to, you know, any kind of corporation or taking corporate money. It was at a point where he even got matched his money situation. He was like, "Y'all don't need to send no more money. We're good." So I do think that he's a honest person, and he did shout out his mama and baba. So shout out to them. His parents, and for those who did not know, Mira Nair, who is a filmmaker, is his mother. She directed, I believe, Mississippi Masala, if I'm not mistaken. And his father's Mahmoud Mamdani. So and moved here when he was 7. But apparently, according to dumbass, well, he's from Uganda, but moved here when he was 7. Because according to Debra Messon, he had something to do with 9/11. Yeah, that psycho bitch said that. But I'm about to eat her up in the next segment. So, with that being said, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Have you been, for those of you in New York, or probably not even in New York, have you been paying attention to what's going on? Has this even inspired or excited y'all to want to, the revolution will be televised and it was last night. And I will say this is that yeah, we're happy at this moment. We've got our victory. Change, I do believe, is going to come, but it doesn't happen overnight, and we're going to have to continue to stay in this fight for the duration of his mayoralship, if that's even a word, which is the next 4 years that he's going to be mayor. Is that we got to make sure that he gets what he needs to get done, because it was us who got him elected. He don't have to be up in here cucking to all these other morons that are in the in the New York political system. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Shall we got a lot of comments? Hold on. Mm, 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 mm. Oh yeah, I read that one. Um, oh yeah, I read that one too. Yes, I know. Gonzo laughing at you. Yeah, it was New Jersey. Remember to say that. Thank you. Um, hold on. Yeah, of course he wasn't. Nobody cares about what Loose Change had to say. First of all, you don't even live in New York, so you can go play in traffic, sir. And I don't know if he was more mad that Zoran won, or was he mad because Zoran came out to New York by Ja Rule. And 50 Cent don't like Ja Rule, but we don't care about 50 Cent corny ass. Just like I don't like none of his corny ass shows. You need to focus on buying up all those spots because you're trying to build your own little studio out in Louisiana. That's what you need to be focusing on. Don't worry about New York City politics, sir. A dino, a Democrat, and name. Yep, that's what he is, a damn dino. And Mississippi got blue seats, so Trump administration is scared, as they should be. What they thought that they was going to do all this stuff and people just going to remain loyal to them? Like, what y'all thought? It's like, no, this is all this stuff. Y'all really don't think about the long game. They probably think the long game isn't like we're gonna do this long strategy to get where we got to get to this point, but y'all don't think about the aftermath. Okay, so we here now, what? And so you've been doing all this crazy stuff for almost a year, and you really thought that y'all were just gonna it was just gonna stay the way it is? Like, no, y'all should be scared. Blue one in California, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, and Georgia. Hmm My coworker family just moved out of New York because they were working 2 to 3. Yeah, that's what I said. It's crazy. Like you barely have enough time to for yourself. Like you have to work 2 to 3 jobs to survive. Well, who knows? Maybe when things change, they'll come back, but we'll see. And is you said the gatekeepers would still trying to skew the view? Absolutely, and it's cute or whatever that y'all want to keep doing that. Um, with the way they have a hold on the media, but like I said before, most people are not watching corporate media like MSNBC and CNN and Fox News and stuff. There's a certain status quo group of people that watch that. I don't get my information from that. Yeah, I see the little clips on Instagram or whatever, but for the most part, I'm watching, the Vanguard. I'm watching Kyle Kalinske. I'm watching Sabby Sabs. I'm watching um Pondering Politics. Like I'm watching so many other shows. Status Coup. I'm watching those are the shows that I'm watching. I don't watch all these other idiots because we know what y'all are about. And then with your stupid Zionist talking points, and then you have your certain coons like a Van Jones who come tap dancing for Israel. And I'm like, who are you? But then I forgot that's Jared Kushner bestie. So or I should say lapdog. And was just paid $100 million from Jeff Bezos. So where do you think where he aligns? All right, let me see. Let's get through the rest of these comments. Absolute, and funny enough, didn't this happen during his first term? Like, it's funny how people get short term memory. Because I'm like, this happened during his first term. That when they pick Trump, but then when he endorses people, they don't win because and thank God he can't be cloned. Although I did see a story that Tom Brady cloned his dog. He cloned like the DNA and stuff of his dog, and they put it in his new dog. I'm like, what kind of weird shit is going on with that? So I don't know. It might be. I was like, look, I won't get him no ideas because we do not need any more Donald Trumps running around. So many people were celebrating woke is back, living out. Unfortunately, not in the rural South. Um, yeah, I saw Kyle Kalinske put that as his headline too. He was like, woke is back, as it should be. Yes, he is. We don't never want to see his ass again. And it's like what Zohran said in his speech. I hope I don't have to utter that man's name again. Trump Barley gave an endorsement to the Republican nominee for governor in Virginia, who just so happens to be a black woman. Oh, you talking about that bitch with the dry ass roots? Oh, I'm glad she didn't get her endorsement. Trump didn't even acknowledge her. So I'm glad her ass lost. And also, JD Vance's um stepbrother or something or another was running for mayor and lost. I guess you over there dry humping Erica Kirk, acting like thinking she a damn sofa wasn't enough to bring attention to your family members. No, Kamala won. There was a lot of mishigosh with swing state elections, record numbers bound. And look, it goes to show that. And then why didn't she challenge it? Because the status quo, the people at the top, the real people hiding behind the scenes that are controlling and pulling the puppet strings, um, they didn't want her. They're like, okay, we'll go with Trump because we could at least get what we want on him. It's easy to manipulate that moron. So is that why she conceded? I will give Cuomo some grace for denouncing the booing at his support rally when he canceled the election. Courteously, what seems like a chill guy. I ain't giving Cuomo no grace. He's an asshole. I mean, he is. Hold on. It's like, why is my things not popping up? Elon wasn't around for the past election. Okay. And I guess he couldn't buy the and it also goes to show too what surprised me because I was expecting the worst. I was like, so fair elections actually still do work because Zoran won. I was thinking the worst. I was like, you know what? I did think, but I was trying not to put that energy out there. I was like, with all this happening, we all see the numbers and we've been reading the tea leaves, and it's pretty much been predicted that Zoran will win. They're gonna pull some type of stunt and give it to Cuomo because they want the status quo to continue, which will force, I believe, all of us to no longer believe in true democracy. and voting. It's like, what's the sense? And that would have got a lot of us. What's the sense of voting when we try to go out and vote and we stand vigilant, and y'all still be out here pulling stunts so y'all could still rig the system? Wait, hold on. I don't think I read that comment. You said if AI is getting credit for cashier jobs, that BS self checkout been around since before 2020. Like the whole, I mean, I don't really like the whole sub checkout thing. It depends on the situation. They still need somebody over there when you have a sub checkout to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So in a way, you still need a human person to make sure all this sub checkout stuff is doing what it do. Because y'all can't just replace everything with AI. People gonna come up in there, start stealing shit, run out the door. A robot gonna prevent you from stealing? I saw a video from CBS today where an English teacher in Queens made his students write an essay on paper to avoid AI. Writing on paper is my preferred way of writing. You know what? They need to start doing that with the schools. It's like, yeah, that's how you get around it. Y'all need to get a pen and paper, get a notebook, put your phones away. Y'all need to actually make it seem like you're doing work. Make them use their brains. You don't want to be like lazy ass Kim Kardashian using Chat GPT to ace lawyer questions because she's too damn stupid to be a real lawyer. So she could barely play one on that TV show that nobody's watching. They should have an age limit. Absolutely. I've been saying that from the beginning. Y'all should not be still running in politics when your mind bad, your asshole is leaking, and you got all kinds of ailments. It's like, yeah, there needs to be a cutoff point. Just like y'all be over trying to tell people when they need to retire, y'all need to do the same thing in politics. Y'all should not all be running around here 80, 90 years old, still holding government power. Yo, the health jobs is leaving. I used to work in healthcare, so um, I was especially heavily. I was working during the COVID situation, but I'm like, in a way, I'm glad I got out. And funny enough, my father worked in healthcare also, and he retired last year, so he got out just in time too. I think he was like the director of admissions at Hackensack University Hospital. I think he will do the best that he can with the system that he is in. And look, if Donald Trump can run around here just taking a wrecking ball to doing whatever the hell he wants and being like, I'd rather ask for forgiveness or permission than forgiveness or whatever that phrase is, then why can't we do it on our side? But we're doing it for the people. We're not doing it for our own self interest. We're not doing it for for power and all the other stuff. I'm actually just being like, I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I'm gonna do what I want up in this situation, get it done, and it's because I want people to have universal health care and they premiums don't go up. I want people to have, stabilized rent and all this other stuff. There's no reason why these landlords is pricing out people. And y'all don't be doing nothing when it comes to the repairs. Although when I had my apartment in Harlem, they definitely was on it when it came to the repairs and stuff. So I give y'all that. Jane Fonda turns 88 this year. Yes, she is. Money well spent. APAC Zionism, there has been a great awakening. And I think it was ever since before people started seeing like what was happening in Palestine and that when that stuff started coming out. And then you got people like David Ellison buying Paramount, trying to buy TikTok, now trying to get Warner Brothers Discovery. It's like, okay, we see what y'all doing. He said Donald Trump turn up the volume. Okay, no. Dev should learn something from this. Insert the clip. Okay, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Is that the line you talk about? Um, they should be learning something from this. How much of the money donated to Israel ended up bouncing back into our politics, and the amount of money they spent on trying to smear Zoran. Because Zoran was even saying when he went to the Knicks game, which there was a comment that was made that was like because he used their font and whatever for his campaign, whatever, they were like, the New York Knicks do not endorse Zoran. I'm like, child, first of all, Jim Dolan doesn't endorse, and that's probably because he owns the Garden. I'm not gonna speak shadiness on my boss. I like my job. However, um, he was there at the game. I wish I would have known like what the reaction was. I'm gonna ask my coworkers when I go back tomorrow. I'm like, so I heard Zoran was here at the Knicks game. How what like how do people react to that if they showed him on the jumbotron? He said the mask, and he was talking about how like he was outside and it was like these billboards, whatever. Like these, there's like these what do you call it? Like people driving by and they have like the billboards and stuff. Um, and there were like these anti-Zohran Mamdani billboards. The vast majority of and he took a picture next to one. While he was signing autographs and dabbing people up, the vast majority of young voters in New York City would, of course, vote blue. It's middle America and the South where Dems should focus with voters under 30. Exactly. I think, like, and especially now, a lot of them need to get out there and start getting on those podcasts like the Joe Rogans and Andrew Schultz, even though they're going to always cut themselves to Trump, especially Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz, I truly believe, has Trump derangement syndrome. Like, any little thing that man says and does, he licks the man's boot, and it must taste good too, like puppy chow. Speaking of puppy chow, my damn dogs is getting on my nerves. So, well, dog Xena. Apparently, she's protesting right now. She's in a mood. She don't want to eat. Yesterday, I took her to the bathroom. She just wants to lay there. She took a piss laying down. I'm like, girl, you need to pop a damn squat and laying in it. I'm like, why are you laying in your pee? Then when she went and moved, laid on the ground and took a poop. Normally she poops like a regular dog, but then she want to lay, lift up her tail, and let it push down while I see her booty hole. I know this is getting a little graphic, pushing out the poop. So I'm like, why this bitch act? Well, she a dog, so I can call her a bitch. Why this bitch being acting the way she acting? Come to find out, she protested because she tired of the same old dog food that I be giving her. So had to go to Costco and get her some new dog food. I was like, these dogs, I swear, like, okay, now Miss Thing trying to be stubborn, having a whole attitude because she tired of the dog food that she normally gets. So I had to go to Costco and there's like this dog food. It kind of like the giant sausage and you stick it in the refrigerator. I'm like, damn, this thing is huge. But I was like, yeah, every now and again you got to switch up their dog food. I just hope that when you switch it up, it doesn't affect the stomach and then you get the runs and things. Absolutely, that is something they need to focus on. The battleground states, the purple states, especially like because Bernie Sanders was running around to a lot of the purple states when, earlier a couple of months ago, he was going to the purple states and having conversations with people. And what people were saying was that, oh, this picture that was painted of you by like Fox News and some of the other people, they were like, you're nothing like this. And that's why I was like, yeah, y'all need to go into these places and literally sit down and have a conversation with these people if you truly about the politics, because people will believe the vitriol and the bullshit that a lot of these corporate media channels will tell you. And so you have to go in and prove them wrong. This is why I don't sit and I watch one thing and try to get my information from that. I like expanding my line and learning about other people. First of all, you need to learn, your ops as well as the people that truly are in your corner. But yeah, they definitely need to run around and do those battleground states. The Deborah Messy. Maybe that's what we need to start calling her. I saw that MTG interview. Yeah, she's full of. I'm glad you said. Didn't I tell you? I was like, I'm not buying it. And they was on the View today, going hard over that whole Marjorie Taylor Greene. They really try. I'm like, okay, this is production trying to make y'all sell up this bullshit with her. And then when she runs for her seat again, that she was gerrymandered in, by the way. Um, Then she tried to show, oh, I'm turning a new leaf. I'm a different person. I'm not like that person. I'm America first. And then when she get her seat again, then she gonna show y'all her damn true colors. And then they gonna be on the View. Oh my God, she had me fooled. I'm like, no, y'all just some damn fools. Because if you easily fooled by that at y'all big ages and you can't see through the bullshit, then I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna talk about the View. I'm gonna hold what I got to say on that whole situation when by the time we get around to that topic. But they said the fact that Trump endorsed Cuomo tells you everything you need to know. Congratulations to Mamdani for being the next mayor. I do feel fear and pray for his safety. There's gonna be a lot of pushback. Of course it is. And that's why Mehdi Hassan, who was on the Breakfast Club this morning, because I did watch that. And I told you I have been heavily engulfed in politics while I was putting this show together. So I knew it was going to be a heavily political show. And it's funny, like the first hour I have spent talking about Zoran. because we have the 54 mark of the show already, and I only did one damn topic. But I'm trying to get through what everybody's saying, and then we'll get to the rest of the stuff. And it was Mehdi Hassan said that he asked him in an interview they did a couple of weeks ago, because he said he had like a couple of cops protecting him or whatever. But now that he's the mayor, oh, he's definitely gonna have to be walking around um with heavily protected. I'm even thinking he's gonna have to they're gonna have to put his ass in a Pope mobile. Like, I like the fact that he's personable and he's been like shaking hands with people and taking pictures and being a real one amongst us New Yorkers. But that last part of like, yeah, I worry about his safety. We don't need somebody trying to run up on him and like stab him up or worse. So I mean, you'll get your ass beat by the cops and they'll basically take you out. But yeah, um, I would be afraid of that whole situation happening for him. But I definitely think he's going to get the job done. Is that 50 Cent needs to focus on the fact that he's been poisoning people around his prop. Yeah. 50 Cent always been trash. Them shows he makes, I ain't never gotten it. I never got into power, never cared about it. I'm like, y'all are a poor man's empire. That's basically what this show is. Speaking of which, where the hell is P Valley? Y'all taking too damn long to get back. Billboard did an article celebrating 20 years of Confessions on the Dance Floor. Oh, that's cute. I'll have to check that out sometime. I did send out a video of when it was talking about Madonna's upcoming album, what she needs to do and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm with it. I cannot get into Sabby Sad. I was pretty sure I fell asleep watching her one time. I think what the problem is with her, she is long winded. She spends like 30 to 45 minutes on one topic. I'm like, girl, really? I mean, I know like sometimes my segments can be a little long, but the other day I looked at a segment that she did. I'm like, 45 minutes? Who said through all of that? Anybody got time? Like, or I'll put it on in the background while I'm working. And it's like, okay, it's playing. I'm putting the show together, whatever. Then I could tolerate it. But I'm like 45 minutes on one top. Oh no, ma'am. So I think a lot, and then sometimes she do get on my nerves with a bit of like, oh well, we got to put the skeptical stuff in there. But I guess you need to be well balanced, and you got to hit all sides. You got to play devil's advocate, which I usually try to play in situations too. But yeah, I can get it. Like, she can be hard to get into sometimes. I would never trust AI to drive my car. Hello, because you see, like, what's that movie? That I love, Upgrade, where that car was a self-driving car, and all of a sudden somebody hacked into it, and they wound up in this neighborhood, and then the wife got killed, and then he got But then I don't want to reveal too much if you haven't seen it, but it is a good movie. Definitely check that movie out. Upgrade. It's a sci-fi action movie. White tea people don't play about they don't. Okay. I hope he fights unlike the Tampa lesbian mayor who scared the whole pro. Wait, y'all got a mayor in Tampa who's scared of having a pride parade? Oh, please. Zohran gonna be like, oh, we having all the parades. We had a pride parade this year. We're gay, so that's not graphic. Oh, because I was talking about the whole her sphincter. I know Bella acts the same way. I have to get on her. She wants to eat the boiled wieners and bacon treats and leave the dry dog food alone. She get yeah. And that's what it is. It's the dry food. She don't want to eat the dry food. And all she want to do is just eat all types of stuff. I give a snack, she wants to eat that up and then want more. I'm like, okay, you big enough. I'm not giving you the whole damn bag. So, and it's a bulldog. She's a bulldog Shar mix. So they are big dogs. They drool and everything. I don't know. I always had a thing for like bulldogs or I want to get like a French bulldog, but I know those suckers are expensive. They say you wanted them babies, now you got to deal with the headache. Okay. You said, yep. How many times did Kit okay? And funny enough, oh my God, I love Knight Rider. At one point I was watching that show. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there. I may have to get back into a rewatch because yeah, it was at one point I was watching Knight Rider. But anyway, let's get back into the show because we literally an hour in and or about to be an hour, and we haven't even gotten to our second topic. But keep the tea coming in the comments. All right, y'all. So now let's get into Lala Anthony dingbat ass because apparently she getting dragged on social media for endorsing Andrew Cuomo. So Kim Kardashian's friend, Lala Anthony, was branded a massive loser by critics after publicly supporting Andrew Cuomo and his New York City mayoral election. So yeah, there's the picture of her right there. I'll read to you if you can't see it what exactly was that she said. So Lala, who has shared a 20-year-long friendship with Kim, showcased her support for the independent candidate. He ain't really independent. During the 2025 mayoral race. On election day, the former Think Like a Man star took to her Instagram story sharing a photo beaming alongside the former governor of New York. Cuomo, who was publicly endorsed by the orange asshole in chief, currently fucking up the White House, has seen smiling alongside the Hollywood star as they posed in a restaurant together. Along with the snap, the 43-year-old actress wrote, "It's election day here in New York. Please go out and vote." Well, with her taking that picture, you know who her ass voted for. And then she went and put, "Let's go, Andrew Cuomo at NYGov UOMO." I guess that's GovWomo. I guess is his at situation, his page, whatever. I mean, there's no point in using it because you ain't whatever. Anyway, let's move on. So it said, she said, "I've known him for years. He's passionate on criminal justice reform, and I've seen firsthand the kind of leader he can be. We need him. Your vote, your choice. I encourage everybody to get out here and make your voice heard. Vote." And funny enough, when I was going to my the school in my district that I was to go vote, I seen some ladies sitting outside with their little Cuomo signs and sitting in little beach chairs, and the sun beaming in their face, and they using the Cuomo sign as a way to shield himself. And I said, God don't like ugly. That's why he's shining that light on your ass. And y'all having to sit in that damn sun, and that sun is getting on your nerves, and you having to use that sign to try to block the sun because y'all out here talking about voting some damn Cuomo. Now, after sharing her endorsement for the controversial politician, many critics took to a newly posted Reddit thread expressing their disapproval. One critic wrote, "She's a bird." What a massive loser. Imagine posting that and supporting that disgusting creep. Well, she should know she was the wife of a basketball player. You know, they all, and I'ma say what I said, they all cheat. They over up here trying to act like they don't, y'all all cheat. Yes, I'm branding y'all all with a broad brush. I work within, the NBA and all the stuff. So I think I know what I'm talking about. All them damn basketball players cheat. Another added, "She's a millionaire, so it makes sense. Her status as part of the wealthy class will always precede her identity as a woman and person of color." While a third wrote, wait, what? Mama, a hand that sexually assaulted at least 13 women behind you." Oh, probably talking about because of the embrace that hand done sexually assaulted multiple women, and you over there letting that man embrace you because that's your friend. Ciao, bye. But you want to know something? That second post is exactly how a lot of them run. They will put money and power first over morality. So fuck being a woman and a person of color. Because Lala is a Latina. Because I remember when her ass was on MTV, TRL, and she wasn't going by Lala Anthony. I forgot what her last name is. But anyway, and funny enough, Colin Kaepernick's wife was on MTV too. So yeah. So yeah, all she cares about is being a part of that wealthy class and being married to Carmelo Anthony, which she is no longer married to him. And I know her son is now playing college basketball. I think he plays for Syracuse University. So she's she's basically a former basketball wife. Now she's a basketball mom and trying to, I guess, pass that torch down on her son being the next generation. So keeping that up, keeping the wealth within the situation. And Lala don't work. At least I don't think so. I haven't heard her being in anything. Someone else speculated, I'm guessing she got paid to do this, which is pathetic, to which another person replied, "Well, her best friend is Kim Kardashian, so I wouldn't be surprised if they align politically." Because allegedly, remember, they were saying that Kim Kardashian is a Trump supporter and she kikis and hangs out with Ivanka and all of them. So, you know, the one percenters, they all kind of mingle within the same circles. And think about this also was like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised she got paid. I mean, quiet as it's kept, all them volunteers that Cuomo had, they were paid. There was one dude, there was a girl that I saw on Instagram that went and interviewed this kid that was black kid that was handing out vote for Cuomo flyers. He was paid. I think he was paid 20 an hour. I ain't gonna knock his hustle. Cause you gotta do what you gotta do in this crazy ass city. Like it ain't easy in this concrete jungle to survive. So if you gotta do what you gotta do to get you a temporary pay, if I gotta stand outside for 8 hours making $20 an hour for and 8 hours of standing outside in you know bipolar ass New York City weather, handing out flyers, I'd do it. But not for Cuomo though. I don't like him. It was like, yeah, I was thinking about, I was like, well, I guess I can say that now because I have a good job. So I wouldn't, yeah. But I understand if you young and you need like some quick cash, whatever, why not, right? Excuse me. But other store, Lala posted the endorsement on her own free will. Someone else wrote, unfortunately, I think she took the time out her day to do this for free, considering she's no one of importance. Good to know. She can't say she at least has values since her career isn't booming. Like, goddamn. The 67-year-old politician previously served his 56, excuse me, as the 56th governor of New York from 2011 until his resignation in 2021 following numerous sexual misconduct allegations. Beginning in late 2020, Cuomo was hit with numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. In the aftermath of these accusations, New York Attorney General Letitia James released an investigatory report that stated that Cuomo sexually harassed 11 different women during his time in office, highlighting inappropriate behavior. Such as unwanted groping, kissing, and sexual remarks. And remember, when he was on this little tour of running for mayor, what did he say that he learned from when all of this came out? And shout out to Letitia James, because remember, Letitia James also went after Donald Trump fat ass. So how did he respond? Oh, I know, like next time when I'm hugging and being affectionate with women and my colleagues, whatever, I need to have someone present in the room. So that way I'm not doing anything that is deemed inappropriate. Like it just didn't click to him that you groping women unwantedly, kissing and making sexual inappropriate remarks is just wrong. You can't be doing that to people that you work with. But he saw it as, oh, I need to make sure I got witnesses in the room to keep me from being a damn perverted asshole. Like, really? That's what you took from that. Which goes to show that this man just lacks any kind of common damn sense. Or he's just someone who is, oh well, I'm Andrew Cuomo. I can do whatever the hell I want. Which is why he pretty much lost because he thought based off of his last name and the fact that his father was a prominent political figure in New York about when did his father run? 1977. So that would be like 48 years ago, damn near 50 years ago. Yes, about 48 years ago. Um, he just thought 48, 49. He just thought that that was going to be enough. I told him those days is over. Because it's like, yeah, we got the boomers and some of the Gen X who might remember your father's tenure and you as a governor. I was really paying attention to politics around the time when he was governor. So I just started, like I told you, I started really paying attention to politics around the pandemic. That's when I really started getting into politics. But I never really like paid attention to certain things. I remember I knew certain stories because of like with Giuliani and a lot of my friends who worked in nightlife and how he pretty much destroyed nightlife and all that stuff. So, there were little things that I paid attention in 9/11 and so many things like that, but never really like it truly engulfed myself in a lot of the politics that's going on in New York. Now I do. So, look, at the end of the day, despite her endorsing Cuomo, he lost. Zohran emerged victorious. He secured 50.4% of the votes that was cast in New York, something that Donald Trump couldn't do as the president. He never secured over 50% of the votes, regardless of what people tell you. Because he said he got so many millions and millions, millions and billions. That's his favorite word. But for the most part, he never secured over 50%. And that is something that hasn't been done in decades regarding the mayoral campaign of New York. So Zohran was making a whole lot of history. We got a Democratic Socialist, we got a Muslim, and we got somebody who's young, 34 years old. Now got the keys to one of the most powerful cities in the world. So I'll say all this to say, when you guys think of this story regarding Lala out here looking like Boo the Fool, betting on the wrong thing. Look, Wesley Snipes told you always bet on black, but you decided to vote on foolishness. Technically, Zoran is brown, but y'all get what I'm saying. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Look, y'all, I gotta blow my nose. Y'all, I'm sure y'all can hear like I'm sicker than a thing, but we gonna pipe through this show. Hold on. Child together. Child, I am a mess today. I feel like I'm getting worse. You say y'all old, not y'all old Knight Rider. First of all, I love old 80s TV shows. Vegas truly misses the mob in today's time. What does that even mean? You said Vegas truly misses the mob in this time. Am I missing something? Hey, man, hold on. I missed that what you said. Yep. How many times the kid? Oh, yeah, because it was somebody Knight Rider. Mm-hmm. Who child? All right. Let's get into her ass. Let's talk about Debra Messy, because she out here being messy. So this lady went and decided to just throw a whole damn temper tantrum because Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York City, and didn't her and I'm sure a lot of people said that if Zohran becomes mayor, and remember, Cuomo said the same thing, they leave it. Well, need help packing? In the words of Bianca Del Rio, you need help packing? Like, I will definitely come over there and help you move the fuck out. So Debra Messy, who, by the way, sidebar, I have heard that she now lives in Tel Aviv, which makes sense. You could take your Zionism and just say it, stick it over there with them people. Y'all, at least y'all got something in common. But if she do live outside the United States, why the fuck are you commenting on something that ain't got nothing to do with you? Maybe you probably get work out there too, because quiet as it's kept, since they canceled Will and Grace a second time, nobody cared enough to want to see your ass on our TV screens, the big or the small one. So Debra Messy, an Emmy-winning actress. I don't know how the hell she won an Emmy, because first of all, quiet as it's kept, she was never the funny one on that damn show. It was always Megan Mullally. Um, Known for her lead role in Will and Grace, is at the center of an online uproar after sharing a meme on Instagram that appeared to label New York City mayoral candidate and now winner Zohran Mamdani a jihadist, which, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is a term used to refer to a Muslim extremist. As Americans headed to the poll on Tuesday, the 57-year-old Emmy winner reposted an image on her verified Instagram story from another account called the Persian Jewess. The original image showed an edited ballot that listed two candidates, one that read a Democrat, just a Democrat, and the other that said an actual communist jihadist. A literal Karl Marx quoting hold on. A literal Karl Marx quoting America hating jihadists. The Persian Jews, or they said the Persian Jewess, account initially shared the image with a caption that read, "This isn't just the mayoral race, it's the battle for democracy itself. New York City, make the right choice. Vote for Andrew Cuomo, vote for New York City, vote for democracy," and use the hashtag Zohran Mamdani at the end of the caption. And it's funny how I bet you Cuomo paid for that. I would not be surprised if they put some money behind that foolishness. Messy received criticism on social media following the move, with many slamming her decision to share a post calling Mamdani the son of Queen of Katwe and Mississippi Masala film director Mira Nair as a jihadist, a term often used to describe those who violently defend Islamic ideals. Saying, "I think Zoran has actually broken her brain." One user wrote of Messi on X. Although it wasn't in great shape before the mayoral election anyway. Fascinating, albeit kind of scary to watch, though. On the same platform, writer Corey O'Donnell posted simply that he felt Debra Messi is a psychopath in response to her online behavior. Entertainment Weekly, which is where I got this article from, has reached out to reps for Messi and Mamdani for comment on the Instagram post. Mamdani is doing his victory lap. He's celebrating the fact that he won as mayor of New York City. He ain't got time to deal with this crazy bitch and her freaking Islamophobic rhetoric that she's been posted online. And I'm sure her ass ain't even apologized. In recent months, and look, shout out to Cynthia Nixon because she was out there telling everybody, y'all better vote for Zoran. I remember at one point she tried to run for mayor. In recent months, Mamdani has become a buzzy player in the New York City political sphere, with with his experience and platform coming under fire from conservatives, including Donald Trump and the president's associates. Yeah, they would say, "Well, he has no real experience as a politician." Well, since we're bringing up Donald Trump, what political experience does he have? And he became president twice. I'll wait. Let me know what his political experience is, what his legal experience is. Hiring the best lawyers that he probably doesn't pay. Because last time I checked, that a lot of times when people do run in politics, and I always thought that was the case, is that you would have people who at least went to law school or something to become president or mayor or any kind of hold any kind of political office. But since we're at a point where people feel like the political system is broken and we need some outsiders to come in to fix the mess that they continue wanting to circle a drain with, then maybe the old guard isn't working and we now need somebody young, fresh, and new to come in and shake shit up. And if anybody got a problem with the way New York is becoming, that is no longer going to become a playground for millionaires and billionaires, then y'all can pack y'all shit up and move to Florida or wherever y'all want to go migrate, when you ain't got to pay your taxes or whatever the case was. Now, remember, I heard Governor Hot Wheels talking about he going to put 100% tariffs on anybody that is from New York that comes down to Texas. First of all, dummy, you can't put tariffs on individual people. What the hell are you talking about? It's like that damn crippleization done fucked up his brain. We're talking about Deborah Messing brain. His brain just is messed up. So they said Mamdani, who's running as a Democrat, has also divided other public figures, including the co-host of The View, who welcomed the 34-year-old to the Hot Topics table for an interview in early October. And a lot of them wasted no time trying to slander him and make him out to be something that he's not, especially that bitch Sarah Haynes, who I'm just ashamed that her ass is a Virgo. But then again, what someone pointed out to me on the thing, because she went on there today and it seemed like she was seething that he won. And I loved the View on YouTube. If you watch the clip of the View on YouTube where it said Democrats win big in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia, the comments, they were eating her up. People were not here for Sarah's commentary. It seemed like a lot of people were turning on her. One person said, "Sarah, please stop. She does everything to cope." One person says, "Sarah, people are tired of fence sitters in the middle who simply want to maintain the status quo. People want need change." And the only two that I feel like would be against Zoran would be Alyssa Farrah Griffin and Sarah Haynes, who Sarah Haynes basically just invisibly eat her box any chance she get. Because anytime, if you notice watching The View that Alyssa say something, she be up there like the lapdog she is co-signing. I agree with Alyssa. I agree with Alyssa. I agree with Alyssa. I agree with Alyssa. I'm like, bitch, are you a robot? Like, do you have a mind of your own? And you're supposed to be an independent, but I think she is a independent in the way that Andrew Cuomo is an independent. Andrew Cuomo ran as a corporate centrist Democrat, but when he lost the primary, he decided to run as an independent. An independent of what? Because are you a Jill Stein green card carrying independent? Like, what are you independently running on? You just trying to stay in the race. So you just decided, oh, yeah, there's an independent thing. There was no real independent politician that's running on independent ideologies or independent things. So you go and decide, I'm going to run as an independent because that's the only thing that's available. And then we just need these other people to drop out. But Sarah Haynes says she's an independent, but your parents were conservative Republicans. And a lot of the talking points feel very Republican-esque. And I still believe that bitch done voted for Trump, but she trying to lie like she voted for Kamala. Because I asked that on the page. I was like, didn't Sarah let it slip that she voted for Trump around the time that he won his second term? So, lady from Iowa, who's only here in New York because of her profession, we are tired of centrist status quo, do nothing Democrats like Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker, and Fetterman cucking themselves to AIPAC and corporate donor interests. And I be feeling at times your commentary is worse than Nutmeg McCain's. And also, Joy went and said on that episode that regarding, well, I'll say what I had to say about Joy when we get to the next topic, which would be about the View and them speaking, or maybe I'll combine it with the whole Anna Navarro situation. No, I'll save it for the next topic because this one's gonna be long enough. So yeah, the people of the women of the View were divided about the whole situation because Alyssa said that she was nervous about Mamdani potentially becoming mayor and asked her why he thinks some top Democrats didn't endorse him throughout his campaign and about being what she called a poster child for GOP attacks on social leaning politics. There's a lot of things that are deemed as socialism in our situation. I don't know why socialism is a bad word. It's an economic and political theory where the community, rather than individuals, owns and manages the means of production and distribution of wealth. So I don't understand why people look at um it's a bad thing. It's a production, distribution, and exchange are managed by the community of state, not private owners. So when you work on socialism type situations, I don't know why people look at that as a bad thing. Isn't healthcare socialism? Like Medicare for all? Isn't like free child health care or free child care like how socialism? Isn't even all like what FDR gave, which was like social security for jobs and also getting aid when in regards to people who need to eat, isn't that considered socialism? When did socialism become such a bad word? Or people having a leg up, that would be considered socialism, I would think. And for them to sit up there and say that why top Democrats didn't endorse him, who are these top Democrats? Top Democrats, I'm assuming you're talking about corporate centrist Democrats who have cut themselves to corporate interests and Israel and APAC money and those sort of things. That's why they didn't endorse him, because he's not willing to kiss their ass and follow the rules and become a part of the status quo. He wants actual literal change. He wants to give New Yorkers the thing that Democrats have been saying they want to give people, but they only give you a little bit. You can give a lot of it if you want to, but they feel like let's give them a little, and that'll be enough. No, people are tired of the bullshit. It's like no, just give me a little bit of something just to shut me up is not enough. We should all have the right to live and exist and to have things, while the rich, what they get to just luxuriate and have so many things, and we all got to struggle and suffer. Like no, that's not the way the world should be. So fuck you, Debra. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Um, she's a psychopath. She's a wingnut. Um, and Zohran is the winner. He's the mayor of New York City come January 1st. And if anybody doesn't like it, first of all, your racism is showing because that's literally when you saying all this stuff, calling somebody a jihadist, you're a freaking Zionist and a racist. And that's what she is. And if this is where we're going with this, if y'all don't like it, like you always tell people, if you don't like it, leave. Well, bitch, you do the same damn thing. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Deborah Messing and what, or Deborah Messy, as it was stated in the show, saying what she said in regards of Zohran Mamdani, calling him a jihadist. Like she even knows what the word means. I bet you the bitch can't even spell it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Need help packing? That's what I would say. Um, what else? Hold on. Funny and okay, she was the real Karen of the show. And not the good Karen, not Karen Walker, just Karen Karen. Yeah, I got what you meant. Why isn't all the billions Elon gets from all the world, not socialism, then use that money to manipulate politics? Exactly. Instead, you should be using that money. You could feed lots of people. You could feed a lot of homeless people. You could feed a lot of hungry people, regular people who's out here trying to who's struggling to make ends meet. You could use all that. What the hell do you need with $1 trillion? You can't be buried with it. Because if you was, they dig your ass up and rob you. How many billions does Elon get from countries? Billions. Wait, from countries? Let's talk about the United States. He was getting $8 million a day from us. Probably still is. I blame Obama for that, which is why I don't agree with Anna Navarro talking about that he need to run a third damn term. Speaking of that, let's get into that story. So the ladies of the View spoke about Zoran and that whole situation, all the people that won in Virginia and New Jersey and New York. So and with that being said, Anna Navarro was on the panel today. Alyssa wasn't there, thank God. She irritates me. But then we had to deal with Sarah Haynes' stupid ass. So we still were kind of screwed. But anyway, so during the conversation, we're talking about the whole situation in between them kissing up to Marjorie Taylor Greene because she was on yesterday's show. But they also were saying like, oh well, she was delightful, and they were just singing her praises and all that other stuff. And I'm sitting there like, we are so cooked. Like we got people on here who are so gullible that believe all the BS that's happening with that lady. I don't buy nothing that she's selling. As I said yesterday, I don't put nothing past her, and I'm not buying this whole turning over a new leaf and going against Donald Trump. But as it was stated, what I played after the segment yesterday, AOC spilled tea and was like, the only reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene is on his whole little campaign tour, whatever the hell it is that she's calling it, is because um she wanted to run for Senate and Donald Trump said no. And now she got a whole attitude. And now she's running around trying to sabotage Trump's little situation because she wanted to do something. But I guess, ma'am, they didn't, you sitting there cucking yourselves to the GOP Republican bullshit. But it was like, oh no, bitch, you're a woman. We don't want you running the Senate. So sit it out, sit down, go somewhere, go continue to sit up in that little room and have little fights with Jasmine Crockett. So that's what happened with that. And I truly believe what AOC said. But anyway, so as the talk show co-host reacted Wednesday morning to the prior evening's blue wave of Democratic wins on Election Day, the Republican panelists floated the idea of Obama securing a third term in office after Trump and his associates have teased that the controversial political figure will seek an unprecedented and by all counts currently constitutionally prohibited third term in office. Moderator Whoopi Goldberg closed out the Hot Topic segment by reminding the American public of the duty to hold elected officials to their terms, prompting Navarro to introduce the idea of Obama, who served as president for 2 terms from 2009 to 2017, taking office once again. Because what Whoopi was saying was that, congratulations to all the people who won. And it wasn't always up to the politicians. All the stuff is up to us to get out there and fight and put who we want to put in these elected seats. And was also saying, like, with the whole thing about Democrats, what shocked the hell out of me. She was like, oh, the Democrats need to just move out of the people's way and let other people come in and do the job. And I was like, really? Because I be always feel like she's all for the establishment Democrats, the way they be running. But maybe today she turned over a new leaf. I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, they need to move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Like, y'all need to get out the way when it comes to if people like Apac Shakur, Hakeem Jeffries is not going to do the job, if Schumer's not going to do the job, we need to have people that's going to challenge them and remove them from their seats. It's like Zoran won Hakeem's district of Brooklyn. So if he won his district and you ain't doing nothing, you still ain't come out and give a real endorsement of him. So she went on to say, we must remind everybody who won that their job is supposed to be and why you voted for them. And when it's not happening, it is our right as New Yorkers, as Americans, to say, what is happening? I gave you my vote. And this is what she was saying, referencing several Democratic victories that swept the nation on Tuesday night, including New York mayoral race victor Zohran Mamdani and New Jersey and Virginia gubernatorial champions Mike Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger. If I'm not mistaken, I think Abigail Spanberger was the one that I saw that Obama came out for and was giving a whole speech before he introduced her. I think also Charlemagne said he voted for her because I think he lives in Jersey. Well, of course, majority of these celebrities work in New York but live in Jersey. That's always been the case, usually. Goldberg continued adding that it's always been in our hands. All these votes are in our hands. No one can say, I'm the president, so I'm going to run for 400 years. And knowing him, he think he's going to last 400 years too. We have the right to say, excuse me, you're not allowed to do that. Navarro then jumped in with the observation, telling her co-host, I saw Obama on the trail in Virginia, and I thought to myself, okay, Donald Trump, you want to run for a third time? We've got a candidate. She said, if Trump can run a third term, so can Obama. Now, many have lambasted Trump and his political allies for suggesting this year that he might seek office for a third time, because there have been situations where they said that they already started running uh merch for 2028 in for him to run again. I'm like, what? How are you still out here? You making merch for the next term? Like you're gonna be president again? It's like, sir, no. There was reasons why they put guardrails in place. Wasn't the FDR that ran 4 terms? And it was like, and they put that in Watchmen too. Before they had to like put a cut in place where it was just like, okay. And I think it was because he was running on giving people health care. He was running on getting people damn, what was it? Like when people wanted to, what was it, like getting unions in place and things of that nature. And so people were actually being protected under the jobs that they were working. So when FDR was someone that proposed socialist ideas and they went forth, people were living good. People were excited. People liked the having him around, so they wanted to keep voting him and voting him in and voting him in and voting him in. He said that, oh, he knows the wealthy hate him and he welcomes it, and that's kind of what I feel like. Zora needs to adopt that same mentality, and I do feel like he does take a lot of not only Bernie Sanders ideologies but also FDR. So he is definitely someone I think that he's taking a page out of his handbook and that sort of thing. So I think we're in good hands under Zoran. And people who don't understand that, like I said, if you don't like it, y'all can pack y'all shit and leave. Like y'all, a lot of y'all was threatening. Like it was said before, need help packing. So, but do I want Obama to run again? First of all, Michelle wouldn't allow it because remember, I think she hated being first lady when he was around. I mean, when he was running because of all the vitriol and all the craziness they had to deal with. I don't know if she'd be down for him running the third term. And if he decides to be president again, I guess Michelle would just have to adapt the same sensibility as Melania. Like Melania barely, or if not at all, goes to the White House. She ain't living with Trump. She all doing her own thing, probably getting her back blown out by other men because Trump ain't hitting it right and keeping it tight, especially with his brain rotting in real time. So, I could definitely see like Michelle probably be the same thing. Like, no, I don't want to deal with all this political bullshit again. Like, we good where we're at. I don't even think Obama would try to run because of all the stuff he had to deal with. But No, we just need fresh meat. We need people to have progressive ideas to get in and run. I've been thinking based off of everything, I could definitely see, even though I don't know how I feel about it, Gavin Newsom is going to try to run again. I heard that Pete Booty Plug threw a little shade at Zoran, and I'm like, Pete Booty Plug always had like this jealous, shady streak about him. I heard he don't like Gavin Newsom, but it's not my fault you're a boring homosexual with no damn moxie. It ain't our fault that you lack charisma, that you lack riz. So, and nobody wants to vote for you. The only person that tolerates your ass is them kids and Chasten. It ain't our damn fault. So stay mad, ho. Now, in regards to the whole thing, regarding this, like Sarah Haynes was seething at the mouth because we got a Democratic socialist, which I always said from the beginning, she is literally an independent, but I truly feel that she is a conservative Republican because that's the way she was raised. But she out here, I'm independent. No, you not. And I bet you voted for Trump. And also, there was something that Joy said in regards to the thing because she felt that by Trump endorsing Cuomo, that was the kiss of death for his campaign. No, sis, you clearly ain't been paying attention to this campaign. Cuomo's campaign was cooked from the beginning, and it sealed the deal when during the primary. When they had that debate during the primary and Zoran ate him up, that was the beginning of the end. But like Cuomo, and when it came to him harassing them women, no apparently don't mean no to him. So he just kept going. He kept thinking, oh, I'm still going to stay in the fight, even though I got my ass beat. That must have been a fluke. So now I'm going to run again, this time as an independent because I lost a Democratic ticket. So now I'm going to run as an independent and get up in there. And now we got, what Eric Adams' position was. That man flip flop more than I don't know, an actual flip flop. Like he just be changing. He changes political stance or his political affiliation. Like I change my damn drawers. Like he just been changing them so many damn times. I can't keep up because I could have sworn he was a Republican at one point. Then he's a Democrat. Now he's an independent. I'm like, there ain't nothing else for you to flip to. So he's been all of the things, I guess. But yeah, she said that she felt that he lost the campaign once Trump. Y'all always just want to blame everything on Trump. Trump just made the shit. I mean, and Trump jumping on that, it wouldn't have helped no way. He was going to lose. His campaign was a disaster. He just didn't have it or what it takes. That personality wasn't there. Zoran was just way too is young, sharper, far more charismatic. Don't have no kind of dirt under his fingernails in regards to scandal. You got all the scandal between the sexual harassment and you letting them people die during COVID. Them old people. You had a lot going against you. Plus, you're not well liked. That was another thing that a lot of people don't talk about. He's not well liked he wasn't well liked when he was governor of New York. So why would people want to deal with him as the mayor? Although everybody tried to put on this perception of let's get behind him because, he's the status quo corporate Democrat or whatever the fuck. So yeah, there wasn't the kiss of death. Cuomo got his behind whooped during the primary. He didn't have a chance, even in my opinion, if Slee would dropped out. Yeah, he would have gotten more points and would have got closer because those votes would have had to go to somewhere. But at the end of the day, as Anna Navarro said in that episode, Cuomo was the kiss of death for Cuomo. It wasn't the president of the United States. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Anna Navarro floating this idea that she said, look, if Donald Trump wants to run for president, then Barack Obama should run for a third term. And look, that would be the most seethingest thing if he ran against him because we know Barack Obama is still sharp as a whip. He would definitely kick his behind. And him losing to a black man, oh, that orange turd would lose his shit if he's not already, because he likes to wear the Pampers, allegedly. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let me close some of these windows out. How many? But you said, isn't he almost a trillion? I think, yeah. I could have sworn probably already a trillionaire. Then wants a tax break. Oh, they be the main ones. Deborah has room. I love for Will and Grace. May she. And funny thing is, we love Will and Grace, but we always talk about she was never the one that we all rooted for anyway. I think they gave her that Emmy out of sympathy. She never had the funny lines on the show. Everybody knows that Jack and Karen were the funny ones. And we loved Will, and we loved Rosario, and we loved Beverly Leslie, but we ain't loved Grace. Grace was just there. We tolerated her ass. Yep, Jasmine Crockett. Cheeto is blaming the election losses on the ongoing. He blames everything on the government shutdown. It's the Democrats' fault that the government shutdown is what it is. It's like, no, that's not it. The fact of the matter is, if they open up, you have the power to open up the government. You have the House, you have the Senate. So you have all the power. You can open it up. The fact of the matter is, you refuse to do it because you want to gut Obamacare. You want it gone. That is the only thing that why he's doing what he's doing. And Democrats are like, no, we're not letting up. So yeah, it's fucked up that we have a lot of federal workers who aren't getting paid and they're working. My ass would have just walked off the job and be like, y'all figure it out. This country is a disaster. And I don't understand why we have not invoked the 25th Amendment on his ass by now. Why haven't we done it? Did you know people shit Barack Obama? What? No, did not hear anything about that. This one was better. I mean, to be honest, it is kind of dated right now, but I still like it for what it. And but I also accepted it for what it was, and it was in the time. It was in 2000. It was 2000, literally. I will say it was in 2000. It was 2000 when the show premiered. So, um, it was in the dawn of the millennium. So it is what it is. But yeah, I did prefer Queer as Folk over Will and Grace. Will and Grace was sort of like your they had the funny gay stereotypical jokes or whatever, and it was funny, but it was network television. Queer as Folk, they was going there with stuff. Like we seeing sexual things happening and everything. All right, y'all. So now let's finally get up off this politics because I was like, "Child, that was a lot." But you already knew that this is going to be a political heavy episode based off the circumstance of what's been happening in America right now. So now let's get into some entertainment. And let's talk about Avengers Doomsday. So apparently the directors, the Russo brothers, have apparently posted a cryptic Iron Man and Doctor Doom video that has fans talking. So Avengers Doomsday directors Joe and Anthony Russo have been coyly dropping hints about what their next big MCU film will be about. And the latest tease, courtesy of a social media post by their company, the production company, I should say, Agbo Films, seems to show some imagery that, when taken together, may have big implications for the plot of Doomsday and its immediate sequel, Avengers Secret Wars. Now, I do have the post, courtesy of Screen Time. I went over there to Twitter. So let me pull that up so y'all can see it. I got to make sure I got to mute the music because I'm not trying to get demonetized. So hold on. We have it. And so, yeah, one of the people that works in the company holding up the Iron Man mask, and then when we come, oh, excuse me, and when he comes around, you have another person with the Doctor Doom mask, which I think they're trying to hint at. They're going to be very like, I guess it's going to be a multiverse of different variants. Now, if you actually can see behind her, one of them, I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to see if we can get a good angle. You see the Doctor Doom suit. I think that was the same one that Robert Downey Jr. wore at Comic Con. And then also you see, wait, we got to go back on that because then also, where is it? If you see here, there's Sue Storm. And if you see here, that's Franklin. I don't know what that is on the side, but you see that's Franklin. You can see a little bit of Doctor Doom, and you get to see Sue Storm. Now, if y'all actually watch play attention to the comics and everything, in a different world, Doctor Doom was in a relationship with Sue Storm, and how that will play into this upcoming movie. Because if you actually saw and I don't want to mess it up if you haven't seen it already, because I remember we do have somebody in the room that said they wanted to watch the post credits. I mean, they wanted to watch Fantastic Four. But if you've seen the post credit scene, which this was leaked a while ago from one of I don't know if it was Daniel RPK or somebody, but and then when I went to go see them, I was like, oh, so they were actually accurate with the T. So at the end, y'all see that there was this, and I was like, that's gonna be corny when I heard about it. That Sue is reading to baby Franklin, who's now a little older. He looked like he's about 5 years old. She's reading a book to him. She gets up, goes across the room. I can't remember exactly what she did because I only saw the movie once. And then when she comes back, she sees Dr. Doom with Franklin. And then it cuts off. That was the mid-credit scene. Or they did a post-credit scene. The post-credit scene was stupid. But the mid-credit scene was like the prelude to what we may get in Avengers Doomsday. And so I'm like, okay, so where we going with all of that? So they're probably, I guess, trying to insinuate that this could be two sides of the same coin or some type of transition that maybe Tony Stark is a variant of Doctor Doom in some sort of way. But I'm genuinely curious how they're going to make this whole thing work when we go see it. Because I already told y'all many a times I'm still a little skeptical in regards of how they're gonna do the whole Tony Stark Doctor Doom story, or convincing us how we cannot look at Robert Downey Jr. and believe him as Doctor Doom and taking on this part, especially because he plays Tony Stark so well. And so that I'm probably sure y'all heard by now. The rumor is that we're going to be getting the first trailer, teaser, whatever you want to call it, for Doomsday when Avatar comes out. So they're going to actually put the trailer in the coming attraction or whatever the case is. I guess I don't know if they'll release it before or they're going to probably pull a stunt like they did a couple of months ago. I'm trying to remember what movie it was. Oh, it was Fantastic Four. When you had to go to when you actually got to see before the movie came on, you got to see the trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash, which it looked really good. And then I remember on Monday they officially dropped the video on YouTube. But I think probably people who went to go see Fantastic, well, somebody probably, I'm sure, screen recorded and uploaded on the social medias. I don't know. I wasn't going that far down the rabbit hole to even see if that was happening, but I'm sure somebody did because there's always got to be one. But nevertheless, you had to go to the movies to see that trailer. I was already going to go see Fantastic Four, so it didn't matter. They're going to do the same thing with Avatar: Fire and Ash. They're going to show a Avengers Doomsday teaser, which is crazy because we have a whole year, December 2026, before we even get before we get the actual movie. Which I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're gonna wait that damn long. But you already know time do be flying, so let's just enjoy what we have while we have it. So they said the biggest detail that stands out in the video after the mass showcase of Robert Downey Jr.'s previous MCU character and his upcoming one is the inclusion of costumes for Sue Storm, Dr. Doom, and Franklin Richards all standing together, which is what I basically showed y'all in the background. So it seemed like it's following the post-credit scene where Sue encounters Doom talking to young Franklin. There's a bigger potential implication in the trio of costumes. However, in 2015's Secret Wars comic event, Doom manages to save the Marvel multiverse from total destruction by holding together a composite reality known as Battle World, where made up of stitched together remnants of other worlds. On Battleworld, Doom reigns supreme, and by his side, as his queen, is Sue Storm, with her children Franklin and Valeria Richards as his stepchildren. A final unthinkable insult to his hated enemy, Reed Richards. So it looks like they're going to give the Fantastic Four and Pedro Pascal a lot more to do in this upcoming Doomsday movie. Because I liked Fantastic Four First Steps. I wanted more action. I wanted to see them utilize their powers more instead of it being more like this science-y, talky movie, and seeing the retro futurism of the world in which of the New York in which they lived. But I'm really hoping that they up the action with these characters in the next one, because I feel like they were during the action scenes. I felt they were a bit underused, and they didn't really get to showcase their powers until like the third act. And the third act to me felt a little rushed. It's like y'all almost forgot y'all were doing an MCU movie. So now they're asking, could the Russo brothers be hinting at a similar relationship in their film adaptation of Secret Wars, which will borrow heavily from the comic? It might be too soon to tell, but the directors have been building anticipation for Avengers Doomsday and its follow up Secret Wars with social media posts for a while now, including a tease that seems to confirm the theory that Doomsday will be something of an Avengers versus X-Men film. Well, I hope so because we need to build an ensemble of Avengers, and I'm hoping that it's not just the new Avengers that we got introduced in Thunderbolts, but that we actually get to see there's other members that you could incorporate in the Avengers, like Shang-Chi and so many other characters that have kind of been sitting on the wayside waiting for their chance to do their own solo movie again. Um, Hopefully they're going to be incorporating that, and then we'll get to see more of the X-Men. But to what capacity will we see the X-Men? Are we using the old Bryan Singer X-Men, or is this a way that you're going to find a way to reboot the franchise and we get to see a younger a younger version of the X-Men? Because we have to get those X-Men movies on board somehow, right? Because that's supposed to be Kevin Feige's favorite comic. So when we get in the new X-Men, I know we're getting a lot of the original cast members to come back, but I do feel like, yeah, it's time to bring in some fresh blood and some new actors if y'all can find them. Because quiet as it's kept, it's not really a lot of standout young upcoming actors that are really, making an impact that I can think of off the top of my head. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Avengers Doomsday and the rumors surrounding it? And of course, that little teaser. What do you think it means? Do you think that, yes, Franklin and Sue Storm will be playing an even bigger role in the film? I don't want to give away too much if people haven't seen it already, because there was another theory I was going to bring up too, but I was like, I forgot. There's people watching that have not seen the film yet, and I don't want to ruin it. So I'll keep it to myself for now until we see the teaser, which is next month, allegedly. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said that's a leak off a post-credit scene. Should I spoil a certain doctor as his sheriff? The multiverse is tired. Risks are meaningless if they could just bring back another version. Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm so sick of the multiverse thing because it's like nobody really dies. It's like, no, leave Tony Stark dead. So it's like we've got to go in another universe where Tony is alive, but in this other universe he's dead. Then in another universe he's got the face of Doctor Doom. I mean, Doctor Doom's got Tony Stark's face, and yeah, it's like the whole multiverse thing. I think we are getting tired of it. But my thing is, if y'all can, excuse me, if y'all can find a way to make the story interesting and utilize these characters, I'll be open. But I feel like at this point, MCU was desperate. They are desperate for a hit right now. Thunderbolts, I thought was a good movie. It just didn't make enough for them to consider it a huge hit. Same thing with Fantastic Four. It was a good movie, but it just didn't resonate the way they had hoped. And so the MCU can use some help right now. It's like when y'all started out with Iron Man during the first three phases, y'all were building up to a goal. Now it just felt like y'all took your fandom for granted and you really didn't set an end game, pun intended, to all of this. I did not care about the daughter in Scream 7. I do not care about the son in Fantastic Four. You don't care about Franklin? The fact that how powerful he is? I mean, gotta find a way to make him interested, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Isabel May was miscast as Tatum. She looks a little too old. I kind of wish, no shade, I kind of wish they would have had McKenna Grace play her daughter. Like, she looks like she'd be the perfect enough size. She's petite. She looked like a little kid. Isabel May looks like she grown. Like she literally looked like a 30-year-old playing a high schooler. So I don't know how I feel about her being Sydney's daughter, but whatever. Too much Marvel content with series and movies, but I will attend these upcoming movies. I can't. And funny enough, I try to get into all the shows or whatever. I just can't seem to. Just too much. work that I don't have time to invest in. Not I'll watch 90 X-Men 97 season 2. I mean, I'm gonna watch X-Men 97 season 2 also, but um look, X-Men Avengers Doomsday is gonna be a big freaking movie. I'm gonna go see it only because I need to be a part of the conversation. All right, so now let's see what's going on. Um I was also trying to figure out I was trying to fix the thing regarding commenting on my Facebook page when I'm doing the live stream, which I had to check to see if it was working. It is. Okay, so now let's get back into the show. Um, Cleveland says streaming is affecting box office results and then releasing movies in theaters. Absolutely. Because I was just thinking about, remember yesterday we was talking about it was brought up that Black Phone 2 was already on digital release. Like you could rent it for probably like $25 or $20, 25 if you want to buy it, because that's what I always do. And you can watch Black Phone 2 at home. I'm like, well, damn, that's y'all just throwing money away. What's the point of? And I also saw The Smashing Machine, the new Dwayne Johnson movie, is already available to watch at home. But I could definitely see why that was. That movie bombed at the box office, so they need all the money they can get. Excuse me, they need all the money they can get at this point. We're trying to get people to go and rent that movie. So that movie cost $50 million to make, which I don't understand how something of, an independent film from A24 cost that much, but that's what they did. MTG is running for president. Child. Voting for some damn Marjorie Taylor Greene as president. I want that crazy lady running the country. Anyway, let's see what we're doing. Oh, we're getting back into the show. And let's talk about Warner Brothers Discovery merger with Paramount. So now this latest story that came out, shout out to Comic Book Movie, where, we have all these companies that are trying to jump on this whole bandwagon regarding Warner Brothers. Who's going to buy Warner Brothers? I'm here that the Paramount deal might be in danger because they're trying to actually seal the deal before Christmas. That was the latest story that I saw that came out today. But Paramount, Netflix, Comcast, all trying up for the bid for Warner Brothers. I don't honestly want Netflix to do it because we see Netflix's model. They don't really value product. They're all about quantity instead of quality. Sometimes when I go on Netflix and I'm looking for something to watch, I get overwhelmed with the amount of movies and shows because they have access to so much stuff. So many movies, so many shows end up on there. It also makes me wonder what's the point of subscribing to Paramount Plus and all these other conglomerates when a lot of their movies end up on Netflix that I could just watch. Yeah, they get it for a short amount of time, but for the most part, um, they get to have access to that stuff. And one of the things is I don't want Paramount Plus or Paramount to get it because as I've been showing y'all, everything with them is politically motivated. They lost Taylor Sheridan because they were trying to have him make a lot of his content lean more into right wing ideologies. And he's like, no, that's not my judge. That's not where I lean. I'm more in the middle with a lot of stuff, or he's more purple instead of red or blue. So, what I guess would be, yeah, in the middle. So they were trying to do that and then trying to come in and give him notes on his stuff. And he was like, no, they've always left me alone when it comes to a lot of the shows that I've created. And my work speaks for itself. Now you want to come in and try to tell me how to do my job or whatever the case is. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. So I'm gonna just write out my contract until the end of 2028. I can still go off and sell things, do movies and send them to different studios or whatever. But for the shows, I can still do what I got to do until my contract ends at the end of 2028. I also think that when it comes down to it, I don't like one company monopolizing all the studios. Why does all the studios have to be owned by one person where it has one voice? We already have David Ellison buying TikTok. We already got him with Paramount. We already got him having his hands on CBS, which was the only way that they was going to get Donald Trump coincidentally to show up and do a 60 minutes interview. Of course, that all happens after David Ellison, for the last 100 days, had ownership of Paramount. Nobody thought that all of this is politically tied and how they want to own and swallow up all of the media. I also think that if David Ellison gets his hands on something like Warner Brothers, do y'all think that they'll indoctrinate a lot of MAGA bullshit into the DCU? And also, because especially the whole angle when we watched Superman, a lot of people said that the plot felt very similar to the Israel Palestine conflict, even though James Gunn said that ain't what we see, it ain't what it is. But I'm like, okay, sir, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. It's clearly feeling like, tone wise, that it's the Israel Gaza conflict. But you dressing up with these different names. And do you even think that if they buy Warner Brothers, we would get a movie like Companion where you get queer characters up in there, or we would get a movie like a Sinners, or even Weapons, like those type of films, which tell these different, unique stories featuring different types of characters. Where we have Sinners, which is a vampire movie that talks about colonization of music and music history, racism, the slave trade, slave owners, all that other stuff. Like when we get those stories told, no, it'd be deemed woke. They dress it up in all these different things, and we wouldn't get those type of movies. So no, I don't want Warner Brothers to get their hands on it. That's why not Warner Brothers, I'm vehemently against Paramount wanting to secure this shit, because I feel like voices are going to be even more limited the more David Ellison is allowed to just buy up all these damn studios. So they also, in this story from Comic Book Movie, they said another interesting development has come up regarding the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount has been the top candidate to acquire the studio so far, having submitted 3 separate bids. However, companies that have been initially only talked about in as merely being interested in a potential deal now seem to be serious potential buyers. In October, for example, it was reported that Netflix had secured a financial advisor to come up with an offer for the studio. Yet Paramount is still not out of the running, as given the information available so far, CEO David Ellison is determined to acquire the studio. A merger between WBD Paramount has led to speculation regarding potential antitrust concerns. Now, according to a new report, the deal does have a potential to trigger antitrust safeguards. The Wrap published a piece on morale around the industry given the impending merger. The article cited a September 2025 report by the Columbia Journal of Law and the Arts, a Paramount test, which broke down the potential antitrust issues that could arise from a Paramount WBD merger. For context, the way that the legality of a merger is determined is by examining how concentrated a market would become following the acquisition. There are 2 important factors to consider in order to determine this. The first one is market share percentage. When it comes to mergers, there's a percentage threshold in place to prevent 2 merged companies from creating an excessively large market share. Per the 2023 merger guidelines of the U.S. Antitrust Division, the Supreme Court stated that a merger which produces a firm controlling an undue percentage share of the relevant market that results in a significant increase in the concentration of firms in that market is so inherently likely to lessen competition substantially that it must be enjoined in the absence of rebuttal evidence. Now, mergers that cross the 30% market share threshold trigger a presumption of illegality as established in Section 7 of the Clayton Antitrust Act via the Wrap. According to the outlet, Warner Brothers Discovery domestic market share is of approximately 26.9%, while Paramount's is estimated at 6.3. Adding them up, their combined market share would be 33.2. The extra 3.2 could theoretically trigger a presumption of illegality for the deal. However, it's important to note that market share fluctuates year to year, so the numbers report here are likely to change over time. Don't they be playing around with the numbers and shit when it comes down to the stock market? I was like, what happened? That was talking about my Facebook is not working. Hold on, I'll have to fix that when I'm done with this because I'm in the middle of a video. I was like, why is the thing not working? But anyway, um, now I lost my space. So now, as stated by the aforementioned merger guidelines of 2023, a merger that creates a firm with a share for over 30% is also presumed to substantially lessen competition or tend to create a monopoly of it also involves an increase in HHI of more than 100 points. So as referenced in the quote above, the second determined factor for merger legality is an index known as the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, also identified as HHI. According to the U.S. Antitrust Division, the HHI is the sum of the squares of the market share. It is small when there are many small firms and grows larger as the market becomes more concentrated, reaching 10,000 in a market with a single firm. Essentially, a large HHI means a smaller number of companies are controlling a large share of the market. The smaller the HHI, the less concentrated the market. The larger, the more concentrated it is. The latter is not an ideal outcome. For context, a highly concentrated industry is one with an HHI of 1,800. And as reported by the Columbia Journal, the theatrical distribution market is at an estimated 1,758 HHI. So as I stated before, I just hope that they don't get their hands on this because they would say, according to the complex nature of the merger between two companies, is the fact that their business overlap extends beyond the distribution market. There is also streaming and news media. The news media factor is mentioned as a concern by the Columbia Journal, given that if a merger were to happen, CBS News, Paramount, and CNN Warner Brothers Discovery would fall under the same roof. This, the journal believes, would lead to an unprecedented concentration of national television news, which is what I was saying is that a lot of these companies, what these corporate oligarchs are trying to do is they're trying to buy up the media. This is all Trump's plan. And everybody said, why Trump got to do with it? Trump is friends with David Ellison and his father, Larry. They're good. They're ace boon coons. So when you have these corporate oligarchs trying to come in and buy up all of the stuff, and you already see what is happening with CBS now that Paramount has ownership of it. Barry Weiss, who is a staunch conservative, has been appointed to run the news division. You already saw that they secured an interview with Donald Trump, which was hilarious because it was a bunch of lies and bullshit that was spewed throughout that whole situation. When he went on his little dementia-ridden tirade, wouldn't even let the person get in a word because he would always want to talk over them. Or, let me just say this or whatever. It's like, no, we don't want to hear it. Why are you constantly like trying to run off with your mouth or whatever the case was? Like, we don't want to hear all that. Just excuse me. Just if somebody's gonna come in and ask you questions about what's been going on in your campaign, why you can't speak on it. Um, so yeah, I don't wait, hold on. Let me just remove the damn thing from Facebook. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to fix that up. Okay, so but yeah, I don't think it's like the thing about the press is supposed to be the freedom of the press, correct? So what CBS News is spewing, CNN should be able to have their own way of spewing what they're doing over there. Why is one person trying to buy up everything? And yeah, they're talking about they're going to split everything. But the main concern I would have to be worried about is, yeah, you got to worry about one person trying to buy up all of not only movies and TV shows and having and owning all those pre-existing and upcoming IPs, but also we have to worry about them owning the media. And you can't just be up in here one person being the owner, like owning up all the media. We already have that shit when you look at like radio, where you see like um I can't think of like all the information with that right now, but when you see a lot of the companies when you have radio stations or radio conglomerates are all owned up by like maybe three or four different companies, we don't need that, or two companies. We don't need that happening in film and television. So why does one person need to own up all this stuff? David Ellison need to focus on what he got going over there at Paramount and getting them afloat and helping them out instead of now you trying to buy Warner Brothers. The next, Sony's up for sale. You want to buy them, and then if um any of the other studios. Well, I don't think he'll be able to accumulate Disney. Disney is over there doing their own thing, and I don't think they trying to. You notice they haven't put in a bid for that because they just bought up. Uh, what was it? 20th Century. So they're trying to make all that whole situation work. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Warner Brothers Discovery? They're talking about, yeah, all these mergers and stuff could trigger a presumption of illegality. I was thinking it has to be illegal where how does one person get to own more than one studio in less than a year? Like you just accommodated or just got your hands on Paramount. Now you're trying to buy something else. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Back in the day, you had to wait almost a year for, yeah, not no more. My friend works at a theater. He says you have to come immediate. What do you mean? Like you when you go to when you go to a movie theater, you have to, or you gotta. Or he said basically you only have 2 weeks. It's not like the old days. It's first come, first served, and after 2 weeks, shit out of luck. Well, yeah, now it's at a point that people opening weekend is definitely crucial to whether or not a movie is going to be successful. And then the second week, it's always like the main focus is how much is it going to drop, percentage wise. And so that's what a lot of people tend to focus on. And then with that being said, if the drama is bad or whatever the case is, then that's how they jump. And then after that, it's like, okay, maybe the third or fourth week, it's on digital. You can watch it at home. And that I think is why it's caused people to be like, you know what? What's the point of going to the movie? So now I think at this point, what they need to do with theaters in general, y'all, every movie that comes out or whatever, you have to find a way to make it sort of an event type situation. I definitely think it's gonna be a pretty busy month for November because we got a lot of really good movies coming out. Like we got uh this week we have Predator Badlands. Next week we have The Running Man. Week after that we have Wicked for Good and Sisu Part Two. I can't wait to see that. I'm going to actually see both of those. I have to get my ticket for I got my ticket for Sisu 2 earlier today. I need to get my ticket for the other movie, Wicked for Good. And then there's something else coming out. Oh yeah, I think it's an animated movie, but I don't care about that. But for the most part, yeah, November's gonna be pretty packed. So there's gonna be a lot of competition. Basically, it's because of Israel. They want to silence progressive voices. Child, Israel probably the reason why my Facebook is all messed up and why I can't. Um, I was like, what's going on with the video? Because now it's talking about what it says. It says, we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is it possible the stream has ended or deleted on Facebook? We'll keep trying to let you know if it's resolved. Please check Facebook to ensure the stream looks okay. If this continues for a while, try creating it. No, I'm not creating a new live stream. I'm in the middle of a whole damn show. And I'm streaming to other places. I'm on YouTube and I'm on freaking Twitch. So I cannot do that for no goddamn meta. Well, when I look back on it, because luckily I do have a Facebook window open. Looks like it's fine. It's on a bit of a delay, but it seems like it's fine. Back to independent film productions. Yeah, James Gunn says Superman is not about Israel and Palestine. It's like Henry Cavill said, "Child, a mess." All right, y'all. So now we have more um Paramount news because apparently they got a damn blacklist for celebrities that speak out in regards of being pro-Palestine. Now, one of the things I will say, I'm not surprised by this because I always wonder. I was like, okay, look, we got celebrities speaking out and talking about like, yeah, it's wrong for this genocide and everything to be happening. I remember when Javier Bardem, I forgot what movie he was promoting, but he went on um The View and was talking about this genocide or whatever because I think Anna asked him. And he basically was speaking up about the people of Palestine. There's been so many other celebrities that have been speaking up. We know like Melissa Barrera got blacklisted, although she is currently working. She got a show with Simu Liu coming out. Don't know when, but they said next month. But I don't know if it's on the streaming service, if it's on linear television. I don't know. All I seen was a picture, and that was it. And she's also currently working on doing a killer whale movie with John Travolta in Spain. So Miss Mamas is working, but you know the outrage. Well, I don't even need to go on a whole tangent about the whole Melissa Barrera thing because I think I've done enough of that whenever I talk about Scream. So, but just know that anybody that has been pro-Palestine, I always wondered if this would affect them getting work, and apparently it has in some sort of way, especially when it comes to David Ellison and them over there at Paramount. So it looks like the likes of Javier Bardem, Joaquin Phoenix, Emma Stone, and Mark Ruffalo won't be making movies for Paramount in the foreseeable future. Well, as long as David Ellison owns it. Under the newly appointed head honcho, David Ellison, Paramount has made it clear that it won't be business as usual in Hollywood any longer. They're trying to reconfigure the landscape, and it already is taking its toll. A fascinating new report from Variety offers insight into what's coming at Paramount. As you know, Paramount executives have been outspoken about their stance on the conflict in Gaza. This past September, the company became the first major Hollywood studio to publicly reject a high profile letter signed by stars including Stone and Bardem that urged a cultural boycott of Israel film institutions accused of engaging in genocide and apartheid against Palestinians. Warner Brothers later took the same position. Well, here's the thing: if y'all want to sit up here and do this, and there was a lot of people that signed that paper, who you gonna get to be working? A bunch of damn Zionists? That shit gonna get old. And people who are watching movies or whatever, if these people aren't right for the part and we watching the movie and the movie sucks, and you start burning and losing money, that's gonna be on you. So you're gonna forego formidable talent because they're standing up against a genocide, which is literally what's happening on, of course, my taxpaying dollars is paying for it. Now, sources tell Variety that it has gone as far as Paramount creating a sort of blacklist of talent that studio will not work with because they are deemed to be overly anti-Semitic as well as xenophobic and homophobic. Wait, who's homophobic? Because them signing that paper, what did that got to do with the gays or xenophobic or anti-Semitic? Because I could have sworn that people who speak out against Israel creating a genocide or continuing a genocide, calling it out is not anti-Semitic. And stop always trying to, and I'm sick of people always trying to lump all Jews under one umbrella because that's not what that is. And I don't understand why they continue to do that. But this is their go to when they want to justify the bullshit. Whether the boycott signatories are on that list is unclear, but who are we kidding here? The pledge, organized by Film Workers for Palestine and published Monday, initially featured 1,200 signatures, including filmmakers and actors Yorgos Lanthimos, which he just released the movie. Oh my God, what's the name of that damn movie that he just did with Emma Stone, where she shaved her head? Begins with a B. Hold on, let me look it up. Well, I know he did Poor Things, which was a weird ass movie. But Begonia, that's the name of it. Because I was like, I knew it was something. I couldn't remember the damn name, but Begonia. Ava DuVernay, Boots Riley, Adam McKay, Olivia Colman, Mark Ruffalo, Riz Ahmed, Tilda Swinton, Javier Bardem, Emma Stone, Andrew Garfield, Harris Dickerson, Guy Pearce, Jonathan Glazer, Eben Boss Bacharach, who is Jewish, by the way, um, but y'all gonna ignore that and call him a Zionist? Okay. Abby Jacobson, Eric Andre, Elliot Page, Payal Kapadia, Joaquin Phoenix, and Rooney Mara. I believe Rooney Mara and Joaquin Phoenix are an item. Furthermore, Variety claims that Ellison's goal was to turn Paramount into a MAGA-friendly environment with content in the TV and movie divisions expected to be more America-centric and geared toward the middle of the country. Well, good luck with that and getting a lot of people to want to even subscribe more to Paramount, because if that's where you're going, it makes sense as to why why Taylor Sheridan said, "I'm out ski. Like I don't want to be a part of this foolishness." And on coincidence, Peter Berg was recently tapped to direct one of Paramount's most prized IPs, their Call of Duty movie, penned by Americana, sorry, poet laureate Taylor Sheridan. Speaking of which, but Taylor Sheridan is still under contract with Paramount. So, why do people think that he's going to go full fledged MAGA with a Call of Duty movie? Like I'm a Call of Duty fan. They got a new game coming out, I believe next week. Um, that does that make me MAGA? Y'all know I'm far from that. Berg, who recently he went on the Joe Rogan Experience. That idiot. He said, "I think Trump's doing some great things. The type of sentiment that could land talent on a blacklist anywhere but Paramount." Well, that's Peterberg, you're an idiot if that's what you said. Ellison is reportedly aiming to take over Warner Brothers next, saying we're going after Warner's. Ellison told confidants even before the Paramount deal was approved. "I want to be in the top three, not the bottom three." So this is all a competition to you. Talking about you want to be in the top three. Well, if you want to be in the top three, then you need to focus on making Paramount what you want to make it. And if it gets to be a part of the top three in the conversation, the zeitgeist, whatever the case is, based off the content that you putting out, then that's great. But you shouldn't have to be talking about I want to be in the top three because and thinking the only way you're gonna get there is by buying up every damn studio under the sun. That's not the way you become top three. By I'm just gonna flex all my billions and just buy up every damn thing. So that way I have no choice but to be in the top three because there ain't many studios left. So this is actually ridiculous that they have a blacklist and they always want why celebrities don't speak out, why celebrities don't come out and say things, and when they do, it's the blacklist or it's shut up and act. We hear that too. Did we talk about that the other day with a celebrity? I remember they was on stage. Halsey was performing on stage. Somebody told her shut up and sing. I've been like, motherfucker, when you have your own goddamn show, then you could tell somebody what they can and cannot say in their own situation. Don't be coming up here trying to tell me to just sing. People can talk and have a moment with their audience if they want to. The fuck? So this is crazy. I just feel like one person owning up a lot of studios, it definitely will affect the movie going experience. It's like the one thing that we love about movies, television shows, all those other things, it provokes thought. It also opens people's minds up to different types of people that they normally wouldn't interact with in real life, be it if it's trans people, people of color, people of different religious, sexual orientation, whatever kind of background you may have. TV and film exploring those characters and those stories that opens people's minds up. And for you to want to come in and just want to make this like MAGA centric, it's like, so you want a bunch of bigots and racists running around or a bunch of men beating their chests or whatever. Like, we're all not fucking cavemen. And I'm sick of people with that stereotype. That was one of the things I hate about, and I know it was a play on stuff, but that was one thing I hate about Sabrina Carpenter's live performance of Manchild when she's on her tour, is that they have the guys kind of like acting like what they would think a Manchild was and incorporated that in the choreography. So that kind of annoyed me. But I get it was a play on the whole situation, but still, I just hate that people kind of look at men as like we're just these walking idiotic Neanderthals. There's a lot more to us than that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Who Predator looks good. I might go see it. If not, I'll watch it. Well, yeah, I'm hearing there's great reviews. I know some people are kind of feeling a way about it because it was PG-13. And I'm like, it's PG-13 because it's no humans are in the movie being assassinated or killed. It's you have synthetics and then you have these different type of aliens. So that he has to go and fight. So that's basically what's in the movie. So yeah, while the action is definitely on point, which is what I'm hearing, it's not like they're killing humans. If they were killing humans, then it would be like, okay, then you can go and it'd be rated R. Someone just taught us that all the celebrity star power in the world doesn't sway, but damn sure don't. Celebs are better off staying quiet at this point. It don't it doesn't sway the vote because Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, Taylor Swift, so many other celebrities came out and endorsed her and she still lost. So it's not about celebrity endorsements. The people want to hear what look, Zoran didn't get no celebrity endorsements. He still won. Speaking of pop stars, Tate McRae is lucky she won't. Oh, y'all seen that video of Tate McRae getting caught lip syncing while she was performing? I can't tell you how many times I watched that video today. A lot of people was like, "Oh, I'm not surprised." I'm like, I worked her live show, so she lip syncing for her life while she up there. I wonder during the sequence where she's on the B stage, singing the piano. I mean, playing the piano because she was like, "Oh, I just learned how to play the piano and all this other stuff." And when she's on the B stage playing the piano, she does her little ballad moment because she was doing like a lot of the down tempo songs. I was wondering if she was lip syncing that part. But anyway, yeah, that was funny. If y'all didn't see the video, it basically she's up there dancing on stage, and she puts the microphone to her mouth, but it's upside down, and then you hear the vocals coming out, and it's like, yeah, girl, there's no way that bottom part of the microphone you were singing into that. So that mic was not on, and she got caught out there. I was like, what was I expecting? She's literally trying to model her career after Britney. And y'all keep saying, oh, she's not trying to be Britney's. Yes, she is. A lot of that is very Britney-isms that we see up there. Pretty girl, nice body, barely wears clothes, and okay voice. And that's what people want. But anyway, speaking of somebody who is defying the odds when it comes to pop music, that ain't Tate McRae. Let's talk about Rosalía. So Rosalía is walking back some comments that she got called out for in regards of Bad Bunny because she had received backlash over a comment that she made about him and said it was taken out of context. So she has responded to a wave of criticism, claiming comments she made about Bad Bunny and singing in multiple languages were taken out of context. The dust up stems back to the Spanish singer's recent appearance on the New York Times Popcast. But I watched their show a couple of times. Their show was actually pretty good. Because and funny enough, the last time I watched their interview or their show was when they had Bad Bunny on it. And that was when his album came out, where she was asked about singing in about 13 different languages, won her new album, Lux, and the challenges of communicating with a global audience. Specifically, the host mentioned a previous interview they'd done with Bad Bunny, where they asked him if he's ever worried about what he was singing in Spanish was being misunderstood or going over the heads of listeners. The Puerto Rican superstar responded in a singing song voice, saying he didn't care. Or I don't care. That's basically what he said. But Rosalía said this. Now, I do have the clip because I want y'all to hear the whole thing because people was taking what she was saying out of context. But I want to hear what y'all have to say on this because I want to play the whole thing. I always want to do right by the people. And we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Also, Joe was mentioning that in some ways you're asking a lot of your fans, and we've talked to various artists who perform
because they can though.
No, they should. No, first of all, if you're a good fan, you'll pay attention. That's one thing that's important.
Yeah, you stand, prove it.
Yes, exactly. Standing is labor.
Learn Arabic.
Standing is
Learn
labor.
Arabic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like we were here with Bad Bunny once, and we were talking about how a lot of his fans don't speak Spanish or don't speak a lot of Spanish. And we asked him, did he feel any obligation or worry that they don't understand exactly what he's saying?
That's something that some of his sentiments were going over
his
their head.
Go over their head.
Right. Yeah.
And he sang something into the microphone and said, I don't care. Something like that, literally.
He was like,
that sounds very much like Benito.
IDGAF.
Yeah.
And also he said something also funny, which was like, there's plenty of people who speak perfect Spanish who also have no idea what I'm talking about half the time.
Right.
But given that the narrative through line is very intentional and powerful,
I think I'm the opposite as Benito. I think I'm like, I care. I care so much that definitely I'm gonna even make the effort to sing in a language that is not my language. It's not my comfort zone.
But
yes.
then what about the fans who don't speak that language? How do you?
Oh, but at least there's 13 languages. I hope there's a little something, or hopefully there's translation.
But I was thinking, like, this is such a words-based project. You want to be conveying lyrics and emotions and poetry.
Absolutely.
And so the way that we experienced this album was on a very simple background, an English translation of every lyric on the screen, with the
also.
Sorry, I realized I had my mic muted. But anyway, so people felt that after her response of what she said, that it came across as she was acting like she was better than him because, like, oh yeah, I make the effort to speak different languages and incorporate that in my music. Whereas when you look at someone like Bad Bunny, he's someone that's like, I'm not gonna do what my 4 musicians, that would be the musician version of the forefathers and mothers, had to do, which was when they wanted to cross over into the Anglo market, like Shakira, like Mark Anthony, Jennifer Lopez never spoke good Spanish any damn way, so we can't really include her in that, but she is a part of the Latin explosion. Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias, so many others, even Paulina Rubio, even tried to do the whole crossover into the Anglo market by putting her Spanish music roots on the side. And then we had Gloria Estefan and so many others, but Gloria Estefan is like at the top because she came out in the 80s doing the whole crossover situation. So with all that being said, that made it come across as like he wasn't gonna compromise his artistic integrity on the things he was doing, so that way his music could be more palatable for a English speaking audience. So I don't be understanding a lot of what Bad Bunny been saying, but I like the music, I like the production, I like his delivery, I like his cadence, I like that whole situation. So that's what makes me enjoy it more. And there's a lot of artists that I don't speak the language. I don't speak Portuguese, but I listen to a couple of Portuguese artists. There's so many different people that come from other countries, and I listen to their music. And one of the things I've always liked is, like, I like the fact that she steps out of her comfort zone and she tries different genres and she dabbles in different things. One of the other artists that I've always loved that did that was Madonna. When she did Paradise Not For Me, I love that she spoke French. Autour de moi, je ne crois pas. Ici les anges, c'est vers moi. Autour de moi, je suis cassé. Autour de moi, je ne crois pas. Yes, I remember all the lyrics, bitch. And then I like what she did, like even with Madam X, even though that album is a mixed bag for me. I love the fact that she spoke Portuguese and some stuff, including Faz de Gostoso. I love that damn song. And she goes and she sings the chorus in Portuguese. So I like the fact when artists about their comfort zone, they do different things, but that's not who Benito is. And I think that people should just respect the fact that, you know what, that's not what he wants to do. But for Lux, because I haven't heard the album yet, it's not out. So I'm looking forward to when the album comes out on Friday, and I'll give my overall thoughts when it comes out. I know she's being called a colonizer and all this other stuff, but when the album comes out, I'll listen to it. And it's like, if she wants to go and push herself and sing in 13 different languages and do all this stuff, that's her gig. And that's to be something she wants to do. And it may inspire other people to do the same thing. And so they said, what is she? Wait, hold on, because I should actually get to the quote that what she said. So it says, still the comments caused some social media uproar, which tapped into long-standing critiques over Rosalia's relationship with Latin music and its Afro-Caribbean roots as a singer from Spain. Because here they said she is a white Latina colonizing Afro-Caribbean music, especially when you're a Spaniard. So people don't like the fact that you're a Spaniard, but you're coming in and using a lot of these deeply rooted in Afro-Caribbean music to go and be successful. And we've already seen a lot of times where Black artists or people of color or people of a darker hue put out certain types of music and they don't really get the accolades, but a woman of a lighter hue and a man of a lighter hue will come out and do the same type of music and they're pushed into the spotlight. It's the same thing with a lot of the white artists that dabble in urban music. When you look at Sabrina Carpenter, she basically, in my opinion, is reheating Ariana Grande's Nachos from her, Black Ariana era with some of them songs that she be singing. And so what they do is like a lot of these urban girls that do certain type of music, they dress it up a little, put a little snowflake on it, and it's more palatable for like the little white girls and they soccer moms from Connecticut to go and purchase the music and come to Madison Square Garden for the tours and all that other stuff. The Long Island girls, the Staten Island girls, and the Connecticut girls. So when I look at all this, I'm like, I see the way that they marketing all this stuff up. So I can totally understand why people coming for her neck in that way. So one TikTok user argued that Bad Bunny sings only in Spanish because he's standing up for his culture, something you cannot relate to because what? You're not a Latina, you're a Spaniard. The user also said Rosalía has benefited from the Latino culture, so you should be able to stand up for it, but it does not surprise me that you are just like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Rosalía posted a comment in response to that video, though it seems to have since been deleted, saying, "Hey, I understand your point of view, but I think it's being taken out of context." And this was translated from Spanish. She says that she has nothing but love and respect for Bad Bunny, called him a great colleague and collaborator, and noted that through knowing him, she understands better why he does his projects the way he does, which maybe should have been further elaborated in the interview. But maybe she was caught up in the moment. I don't know. But yeah, you should have kind of said that in the interview. It is like, yeah, I'm doing different languages and I think it's important in this way. But at the end of the day, I understand why he does the projects he does. And that what he's doing is political, which is I choose to show that you don't have to kowtow to what's the word? To Anglo colonized type of ideologies in order to be successful. You don't have to kowtow to white people. You don't have to, oh, well, white folks are interested in my music. And if I just sang in English and I rapped in English and I did all my stuff in that way, then I can get more people to support my music. He feels like it's enough with the audience he has. And he definitely has a lot of fans who don't understand what he's singing, what he's saying, I should say saying, and singing and rapping, and they don't care. Or it probably is inspiring them to want to learn Spanish. So she said, she also added this. She said, I've always been grateful to Latin America because despite coming from another place, the Latin people have always supported me throughout my career, and I empathize with what you're explaining. Precisely for that reason, it saddens me that this is being misinterpreted because that wasn't the intention. Now, Lux, I should say, marked Rosalia's fourth album and first full length since 2022's Moto Mami. For those curious, she uses 14 languages on the album, including Spanish, Catalan, English, Japanese, Latin, Italian, German, Ukrainian, Arabic, Sicilian, French, Mandarin, Hebrew, and Portuguese. Child, that's a lot. Excuse me. But we'll see how all that pans out when the album, if she's real convincing with using those different languages and stuff on the album. We hear how it all pans out when the album drops in 2 days. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Rosalía facing backlash over what she had to say about Bad Bunny? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I've said this before. I can't understand French, Japanese, or Norwegian, yet that doesn't stop me from listening to music that I enjoy. It's easy to find translations and it makes learning languages fun. Exactly. And when you listen to music, the one thing I will always say has always been a uniter in regards to art has always been music. That always collectively brings to get people together. So I don't understand why people sit up in here and act like, oh, well, you need to speak American, because they think English is American. You need to speak the language that I speak because I don't understand what you're saying. It ain't none of your damn business. And if you want to learn, they have ways that you can learn. Rosetta Stone and a bunch of other things. They got all kinds of apps where you can learn how to speak in different languages or language. I don't know what K-pop Demon Hunters is, but I'm sure most of their fans can't speak Korean. And they be speaking it. They be up there listening to them songs and they be up in there speaking. Speaking of which, it was announced today K-pop Demon Hunters is getting a sequel. So expect to see another one. I think it comes out in 2029. And don't forget Madonna singing in Sanskrit. Oh, I know all the lyrics of that song too. Vande Guru Nan Charada Vinde Sundar Shita. I know all the lyrics of that too. They said Rosalía is a Latina. She's Hispanic. People from Spain and now Latin do not to sound like a smart. Screw you, Chris. I'm from Long Island and I don't. Oh, sorry. But you know, I'll be throwing daggers. You don't know who I don't know who Tate McRae is. I'm from Long Island. David Howard Thornton said, "Can we sell Staten Island to the South?" Well, ain't that where his director is from? I don't know why, but I'm shocked Mamdani lost Staten Island. You can't fix our ugly sister to New York City. Sleep with Well, I don't know why you surprised that Mamdani lost Staten Island. I'm not surprised he lost Staten Island. Staten Island is vehemently racist. I could have told you that from the beginning. So I'm not surprised that Staten Island didn't vote for Mamdani. They say Carmen Miranda also exploited. I would be surprised. All the way to the bank. And There's one video I was watching earlier yesterday. Damn, I wish I would have had the clip and I would have played it for y'all. Well, this guy was someone because he worked on A Living Color and basically said that Jennifer Lopez is a manufactured pop star, and he ain't mad at it that she wrote it all the way to the bank. Because at the time, we ain't seen no girl that looked like her that was in pop music. And I think she wholly benefited from it because she was in Selena. So they were like, you know what? Because you were over there shaking your bonbon and all that other stuff, and you had a nice big ass and you pretty and all this other shit, we could market that. And they wonder why now it's like nobody, when it comes to her career now, it's crickets because I'm like, there's so many girls that do Jennifer Lopez better than Jennifer Lopez. We got Shakira, we got, I guess, we got Carol G, we got Becky G. There's so many other girls that's out here that's doing Jennifer better than Jennifer. So that whole gentrification is like so many other girls do it better. They said, I would love to be a polyglot, someone who is fluent in many languages, but I don't have the time. I was like, yeah, how does she have the time to um absorb so many languages? I mean, was she learning that on the job while she was recording the music? All right, y'all. So now let's get back into the show. And hold on now. I forgot to do my once we get down to the four topics. Well, now I can do the three. So looks like we're down to our final three topics. So before we get to those final three, if you are not already, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please, thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get back into the show. Let's talk about Blake Not So Lively, aka Ku Klux Khaleesi, because it looked like she done served another loss. Now, yesterday we did a video where I basically read you the article that Us Weekly is the only mainstream magazine, blog, whatever you want to call it, because it was in technological form, that revealed that this whole story that everybody was running around with saying that Justin Baldoni lost his civil or whatever suit that he had filed against her, that it had ran its course and he didn't refile. So now what happened? He said that he never intended to refile, that he was waiting on dealing with the trial that's supposed to be happening in March of 2026. So that was his primary focus. But everybody else went around spinning this whole spiel, especially Complex, which some people believe that Blake was having her minions out here, playing with the bots and all that other mess, and that's where it all concluded from. But nevertheless, now it seemed like with that, so there wasn't a real loss on Justin Baldoni's part. It was just a lot of misinformation being spewed into the public. Well, now it looked like Blake has lost out again because a case that she had going up against a podcaster, I believe, has been tossed yet again by the judge. So Judge Lewis Lyman ruled that Lively's attorneys had failed to show that Jed Wallace, who is based in Austin, Texas, had enough connection to New York to be sued there. Lively had accused her director and co-star Justin Baldoni of conspiring to damage her reputation in retaliation to raising complaints about sexual harassment on set. Lively had issued Baldoni as well as publicist Melissa Nathan, producer Jamie Heath, and others. A trial is set for March. Among the allegations, Lively's alleged that Baldoni's team hired Wallace to weaponize a digital army to harm her reputation on Reddit and other online forums. The judge previously dismissed the claims against Wallace, but allowed Lively's attorney an opportunity to add additional facts that would substantiate his connection to New York. And you also have I would think you have to bring up, okay, so in what way was there because wouldn't there be some type of monetary situation exchanged if Baldoni's team hired Jed Wallace, to weaponize a digital army to harm her reputation? Says you did this to yourself. You harmed the harmation of your reputation. You can't blame other people. And how also remember she was coming after anybody who was a blogger, YouTuber, or whatever the case was that would cover this story. She was sending out cease and desist and filing all these weird suits and all this other mess. And I'm like, girl, if you don't sit your dumb buck teeth having ass down with that overbite, ain't nobody buying this foolishness. And so you making it come across worse for yourself when you sit over here trying to make it seem like everybody else is to blame and you the victim. I told you, like I said yesterday, it's giving Amber Turd Tease. New York's long arms statute allows plaintiffs to sue out-of-state defendants in New York if they can show that an injury occurred in the state. But the statute exempts defamation claims from that provision. In a nod to free expression, the judge ruled that Lively has not overcome that obstacle but left open the possibility that Wallace could be sued in Texas. For now, the ruling narrows the case somewhat, though it's unclear whether Lively will seek to pursue Wallace in Texas. Well, I guess that's going to be more time, effort, and money if you're going to have to go down to the Texas courthouse and file a suit because they're like, okay, so you really got to be out here and prove that I came all the way over to New York and caused some type of damage to your reputation. This all sounds stupid to me and just a waste of taxpaying dollars and a waste of money, period. So it said the court ruled that Ms. Lively's claims can and should be brought in a different court. A spokesperson for Lively said in a statement, Ms. Lively is evaluating her many options for doing so and looks forward to trial on all of her claims against Baldoni, Heath, Nathan, and the rest of the Wayfair defendants in March in New York. So Wallace is pursuing his own defamation suit against Lively in federal court in Texas. So good luck to all that's involved. This sounds pretty messy. And as I've been doing with all those other cases, I will be keeping you guys abreast of this story as it develops. So, what do you guys think of this story and the latest development on Blake Not So Lively, aka Ku Klux Khaleesi, and her foolishness with now going against a social media operative who they dropped the case and saying like there's no proof that this man had any kind of influence over in New York, even though he's over he's in Texas. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about this new Gen Z poll that has come out. So apparently, it said that more than half of the young people watch no traditional broadcast TV in a typical week and tends to focus wholeheartedly more on TikTok and YouTube than any other conglomerate, which I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, who didn't know that there were more people, especially this younger generation, that spends more time getting their information from social media platforms like YouTube and TikTok than they would from linear television. Like, I could have told you that. But let's get into the story. So now, shout out to Variety for this story, by the way. Now, according to Activate Consulting's Technology and Media Outlook 2026, which was unveiled by CEO Michael Wolff at the Wall Street Journal Tech Live event on Wednesday, 43% of Gen Z is opting for YouTube and TikTok for their media and news consumption. Sidebar, those are two actual conglomerates I post a lot of my information to. Like TikTok, I cannot tell you, like when I post videos and stuff on there, TikTok, I get way more views than I would on any other conglomerate, especially like Instagram and stuff, which is why I don't waste my time with Instagram. I have it. I usually just post things in my story, but for the most part, I don't feel like I get enough eyes on Instagram. But when I post things on TikTok, I get a lot of comments, I get a lot of and get a lot of likes and all of that stuff. And on YouTube, of course, of me doing the live stream, depending on the topic, and the algorithm, when it's not algorithming and it wants to cooperate, I post segments of some of the topics that I put on the show up there, and it gets numbers depending on the type of topic that's at hand. Now, per the same survey, the popularity of microdramas, one of the latest trends on those platforms consisting of 1 to 2 minute scripted episodes of an ongoing storyline, has been increasing at a fast rate with 28 million U.S. adults, 52% aged 18 to 34, reportedly watching that new form of content. Additional findings include projections for global internet and media revenue to increase by 388 billion by 2029, while average daily time spent streaming video will climb to 4 hours and 8 minutes as time spent. Wait, hold on. I got to go back on that. It said while average daily time spent streaming video will climb to 4 hours and 8 minutes as time spent watching traditional TV is set to collapse to just 1 hour and 17 minutes. Well, I think it's because traditional TV is like with the ads and everything else that goes on in there, people lose their interest. But I think when like, for example, when I do this show, sometimes the show ends up being 4 hours. Sometimes the show ends up 3 hours. I'm sure based off of today's show, because this is a live stream and I'm looking at the time, it's been 2 hours and 50 minutes that I've been streaming live doing this show with all the topics that I have. We're going to go over the 3 hour mark. And I think that when they always say that people's mind attention spans are pretty much messed up, everything in certain cases, like with the micro dramas, I have caught a couple of micro dramas. I have to say, some of them are relatively interesting. I wish I could be able to take something and write a storyline in like a minute and then post it up, and that's good enough. What's going to happen in the next episode? Like me, I'm old school in that way of like, I like a traditional TV show that I could just binge. I'm not all about the once a week thing. My attention span don't go like that no more. Excuse me. Although Welcome to Dairy, I am doing that week to week. Normally, when it comes to shows, I do binge. Like I wait until the end of the season and I binge it, which is why I think I kind of like the Netflix motto. In this, I say, not when you just throw up the whole season. I like them breaking up the season. So it's like 3 episodes this month and then 3 episodes another month, and then we get the finale in a couple of weeks. Excuse me. So I like the idea of them doing that. And I think more shows should do that. Release a couple episodes at a time, and then just break it up into different formats. Now, then it's additional findings include projections for global internet and media revenue to increase by. Oh, okay, I read that part already. Activate estimates that as a result, streaming revenues from ads and subscriptions will grow 18 to 19% annually, while traditional TV revenues will fall 4 to 6% year to year. According to the consulting firm's report, people are currently living a 32-hour, 17-minute day by multitasking throughout their day, their daily routine online, and consumers spend over 13 hours on media. Child, y'all been here telling my business because I definitely spend like a lot of times when I look, I have on my phone where it lets you know like how many times you actually spend on like your social media platforms. Spend a lot of time on like looking, Googling, schmoogling, and going and looking at entertainment based stuff because, of course, me doing this show, I'm always constantly doing research. I'm always constantly looking for interesting stories to talk about on this show. and that sort of thing. I don't only just want to do celebrity news and gossip. Just like with this thing, I think it's relatively interesting to talk about this because it lets us know, based on the polls, how long do people spend on, average a day on consuming entertainment. And I do feel like linear television, corporate media based TV is going down the tubes. And people like getting their entertainment from people like myself who get on here and we're just very, you know, to the point where the stuff that we say, we're not really just like cucking our mouths and we cussing. I'm really bringing you all this information, giving our full opinion, and it's not based off of what some sponsor or whatever is telling me to say. This is actually stuff or that I'm thinking about as I'm going through these topics when I'm saying in my own freaking opinion. And if people want to actually send it like super stickers, super chats, whatever the case is, those are welcome. And there's ways that we're providing the information because people are just not really liking the lack of diverse voices, especially in media, in scripted television. So it's like the old guard is going down the toilet. So Activate estimates that as a result, streaming revenues, they're saying like, yeah, as a subscription, we all knew that was growing. I mean, some people are complaining that streaming service, streaming services are getting even just as expensive, if not more expensive than a regular cable bill. So, according to the consulting firm's report, people are currently living a 32-hour, 17-minute day by multitasking throughout their daily routine online, and consumers spend over 13 hours on media daily by utilizing various social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. To capitalize on this trend, companies like Amazon are moving into creating more video content alongside streaming services like Spotify moving to create audiobooks. And then we also hear there was a story going around that Netflix is getting interested in jumping in the podcast space. So it seems like, yeah, a lot of these companies are jumping into looking for a lot of these personalities to come on and jump into the podcast space and they jump into all these different things. And I was gonna say, boy, oh, there's someone Spotify is moving into creating audiobooks. Well, I don't know. I don't particularly care for Spotify. And Amazon been had audiobooks. So y'all a little late with that. But it'll be interesting to see like what Amazon is going to do in regards to creating more video content. I know they've been content. I know they've been talking about buying up a lot of IPs. Like we have Masters of the Universe and so many other different movies and stuff coming out. But it'll be interesting to see like what direction they plan on going in regards to the whole video content space. But yeah, this is where we are right now. I don't necessarily know how I feel about the whole micro drama thing because this whole 30-second to a minute episodes of a show, it's like, no, I need full on plot. I need a full on script. I need to see like if you want to do something 10, 15, 20 minutes, like I've watched YouTube videos where they do that, where they have like series that are like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever the case is. If y'all want to do something like that, that's cool. But apparently y'all minds is all that bad that y'all doing a whole micro drama thing. Or yeah, the whole micro drama situation. Like I just don't get that. Even though I've watched a couple of them and yeah, they're entertaining. But and there's some people out there that are good at that, but I hope that they don't just think that that's all they can do. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding that? Yes, how 43% of Gen Z prefer getting their information from YouTube and TikTok versus traditional TV. Of course, the old fuddy duddies are gonna have a problem with it. Like if they talked about this on the View tomorrow, you already know them old bros gonna thumb their nose at that situation and make it seem like TikTok and YouTube or whatever the case is negative or is bad. It depends on the situation, but that's like with anything that comes out, even with AI. There's good things about it, and then there's negative things about it. Same thing with YouTube and TikTok. I feel like if you're going to get in this space of being a pundit and you're going to be out here providing people with information, you need to give people the right information. You can't go off vibes. You can't go off just like saying stuff because you want to indoctrinate people into your stupid ideologies. You got to really come up here with the facts and the information and the data when you're taking on certain topics. And you just can't be going off your damn vibes and emotion. So let me know what you guys think of this team in the comments down below. Mm, 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 mm. Says Smashing Pumpkins issue a 30th anniversary edition of Beloved Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. Shout out to them. I seen Smashing Pumpkins. They performed at a show. I forget who they opened for. I think it's Green Day. Yeah, that was a good show. Also, um, Radiohead's going on tour. I'm like, can y'all come to the US? Because I saw that on Variety and they showed their whole their set list and everything. I was like, can we get Radiohead to come to the United States? They're only doing overseas shows. Thank God it's not Rumble Child. Was they also doing a series or whatever on Grinder? He said nothing is on cable TV unless it's award season. Drag Race airs during award season. YouTube is my most. It is mine too, and that's why I said it's funny how like I pay for so many streaming services, which is crazy. But now at this point, since I had to change my card because somebody apparently got my information, was trying to buy shit off my card, and I had to stop that, and I got my coins back. But these other streaming services, that's the thing. It's like I'm not going back and subscribing to certain ones because I'm gonna just let those fall by the wayside. I'm gonna just be very selective with all the streaming services that I get. But you're right. There's nothing on not a 1 hour limit on the clock app. But I like the fact that you are very much adamant in your ways of you put timing on things like you're against AI, even though you're a Gen Zer. And you also like I put limitations on how long I'm gonna spend on specific apps or whatever. I've been on since I've been doing the show and putting the show together, I haven't been on social media pretty much all day. I've just been looking up and researching different stories and things. But um yeah, so you said I'm a millennial and I absolutely choose streaming over traditional. Yeah, I don't, and I told y'all I don't have cable. I don't have like I have a TV, I have a Roku television, and everything I watch is off a streaming service. I wouldn't know how to, and even if I was to go to my parents' house, whatever the case is, if I was to turn, I would not know how to turn on their TV in the cable box. I have no idea. I know how to turn on to watch like digital videos and things, but a regular cable box, oh, that's foreign to me. And I grew up with cable. So, but when you've been doing something a certain way for so long, you don't remember I don't remember how to do all of that. It's yeah, and I choose streaming too. And plus all the channels and stuff that's on traditional television is on streaming services now. Even some of the traditional TV shows like Sherry Shepherd and The View, even they got smart and was like, you know what? We got to start. Everybody don't have ABC. Everybody don't have all these things. So we got to put our shows on YouTube, and you can watch Wendy Williams. You can watch Sherry Shepherd, even though I don't particularly care for her. But you can watch The View every day on YouTube. I don't know why Screaming for Hudson and Drew Barrymore and them and Kelly Clarkson didn't think to do that. I even think you can watch Tamron Hall on YouTube, but then they got smart recently. They finally put Tamron Hall on Hulu. Because before you could barely watch her show, that you could only just watch clips. As for streaming services, if Stranger Things wasn't coming back this month, if I wasn't currently watching Gilmore Girls, if I didn't watch Damn, you got all these shows, I wouldn't be on any of them. Enigma songs. Well, you talking about Enigma, the group? I remember them. He said, truth be told, traditional media failed because it was stifling creativity and freedom. Absolutely. So now people feel like it's a lot cheaper, where you can, like, the new iPhones got better service than like a traditional camera. So people are just making stuff on, independently and put it on social media. That's the way things is going to end up. And then Hollywood truly going to be left behind. All right, y'all. So now let's get to our final topic and let's talk about this mess that's going on in Manchester. So we already told y'all that Manchester Pride apparently is broke and they've been owing a lot of people money. But now the tea done came out, and when they was talking about how much money that these people had lost, oh, I gagged. So hold on as I pull this picture up of Nelly Furtado and Olly Alexander, who were victims in this whole situation. So they said In October, bosses behind the charity that runs Manchester Pride confirmed that it had entered voluntary liquidation due to it no longer being financially viable. Now, a report by business restructuring organization KR8 Advisory, which is overseeing the charity, liquidation, has revealed the extent of the charity's financial woes. The report indicates, as first reported by Manchester Evening News, that almost 200 individuals and companies are owed debts, amounting to 1.3 million pounds, with the range of amounts owed varying between 30 and 330,000 pounds. Nelstar Touring Inc., the indie label owned by Manchester Pride, 2025 headline act Nelly Furtado is owed $145,755, well, pounds, not dollars, pounds and 75 cents, according to the report. A company linked queer singer and Eurovision star Olly Alexander is owed 48,000 pounds. Mayfield Depot, the venue which hosted this year's performers, which hosted them, as part of the Mardi Gras Festival, is owed 330,329 pounds. Charity St. John's Ambulance, which provided medical support at the event, is owed more than 47,000 pounds, while event security company Practical Event Solutions is owed 167,000 pounds. God damn, y'all really wasn't paying nobody nothing while they was working. Suspicions around Manchester Pride's financial situation were raised in October after a number of Drag Race UK performers, including Zahira Zapanta, Banksy, Saki Yu, and Lil, claimed on social media that they were still waiting to be paid for performances at the August bank holiday weekend event. So this is pretty much a follow-up. On October 22nd, the company behind the event confirmed that it had entered voluntary liquidation, leaving a lingering question mark over the future of one of UK's largest Pride events, saying a combination of rising costs, which are affecting the entire events of hospitality industries, declining ticket sales, and an ambitious refresh of the format aimed at challenging these issues, along with its unsuccessful bid to host Euro Pride, has led to the organization no longer being financially viable, wrote Manchester Pride's Board of Trustees in a statement. So I actually do have their statement over on Instagram, but I do wonder, I'm like, how did they let this all go by the wayside? And how was y'all able to just, excuse me, I was wondering, how was they able to pull off this thing if they knew that they didn't have the damn money to host all these people? And I also wonder, I was like, were the homosexuals not going to the Pride event out in the UK or Manchester? Well, Manchester is in the UK, right? So, well, y'all not going y'all weren't doing Pride? I know there's some people out here be like, I don't need Pride anymore. Pride is not, I've outgrown Pride. But I'm like, okay, well, Pride is for people who feel prideful in who they are as being, celebrating who they are, being a part of the LGBTQIA, or as I like to call it, libido plus community. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I do wonder, was there like a steep decline in people actually going to these Pride events? Or is it a situation where a lot of these type of parties, the ticket prices are just ridiculous? I don't know what the economy is out in Manchester. Any of my Manchester people, because I know I got British people that watch this show. Um, when I cut this up and I post it or whatever the case was, if you're not in the room right now, definitely fan out and let me know, like, what's the economy like out there and all the other stuff, and has the struggle been real in regards of like the gays who's supposed to be the ones having disposable incomes and stuff? Are we out here on the struggle bus? I mean, ain't nobody struggling more than these promoters over at Manchester Pride, who not only didn't pay their talent, they didn't pay the artists, the singing artists, drag queens, the security, the medical people, and hospitality. So yeah, now they lost Euro Pride 2028. They lost it to Ireland. So Ireland's gonna host it over Manchester. The financial report also details how the organization attempted to escape its financial struggles prior to entering voluntary liquidation. After unexpectedly low ticket sales and a financial loss for the third year in a row, the organization sought legal and financial advice and explored a number of rescue proposals, which ultimately proved unsuccessful. The charity also attempted to seek support from Manchester City Council, but the local authority declared after deliberation that it could not assist. Manchester Pride is attended by hundreds of thousands of revelers each year and is considered one of the biggest annual LGBTQ plus events in the UK. Well, if that's the truth, I mean, if that's a fact, then why are y'all filing for liquidation? If it was considered one of the biggest annual queer events. So I should also point out that alongside Furtado, Alexander, and a slew of Drag Race queens, they also had other performers there as well, including Little Mix singer Leanne, Billy Porter, and Sister Sledge. Now, I do wonder if they also didn't get paid, because if Nelly Furtado and Olly Alexander didn't get their coins, then Billy Porter definitely didn't get his money. Leanne didn't get her money. Thank God Jay didn't say yes, because I know she out here gagging right now if she didn't get no money. And Sister Sledge, we are family, and under the same breath, we ain't get paid. So, shout out to y'all. This is unfortunate that they didn't get their money in all this whole situation. I hope it works out. I hope these artists and everybody who was involved in Manchester Pride definitely does get paid. If not, unfortunately, y'all got to take this L. But if there are going to be negotiations in the future as an artist, I definitely need to have I'm like, pay me half up front, and I'll get the other half when I'm get off the stage and I perform. Because I'm not just going to do, okay, I'm gonna perform, and then y'all gonna pay me later, and then I ain't gonna get what I'm owed up here. So if you people gonna be playing these games, then I'm just gonna have to be just as lethal when it comes to my negotiations. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the huge amount of money that Manchester Pride owes not only the people that work behind the scenes on putting Manchester Pride together and helping it work, but also the talent. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. But $9.99 AMC Plus gives me Shudder, AMC, BBC America, and Sundance on YouTube. I feel like I do get AMC. I get AMC from Philo, but I only keep Philo because of MTV, and MTV has Drag Race, and that's the only way I can watch it. And plus, the Braxtons and some of the other shows that they have on there. So, but that's good if not if $10 gives you Shudder, AMC, BBC America, and Sundance, you're getting all of that. I get Sundance as well from Philo. I also get BBC America and AMC. So that's why I keep that, and Shudder. I've been paying for that. So I just got to work on my monetizations a lot better, or whatever. But yeah, they do have like a big deal of stuff. You said boycott all celebs gave cover for evil. I have no idea what that means, but okay. But anyway, on that note, it looks like we're at the end of the show. As y'all know, I'm under the weather. It's like every other time I'm turning around, I'm coughing while I'm trying to talk, which takes a lot because I'm using the one thing that is the issue, which is, with this nasty cold. Hopefully, I could burn all this off. I have, and Cleve, if you still in the room, I have been taking that Theraflu you gave me. I may have to drink some of that after I get up off here. I may have to drink some more of that and sweat out this sucker while I'm working on these edits for the show, the timestamps, and um catching up on some shows or whatever the case is. But yeah. So I want to thank you all for tuning into the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We are at the end of the show, so thank you all for tuning in. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode because tomorrow I have to work. Friday I want to see if I can probably come on and do a show because I got an early morning situation. So maybe later on Friday night I could probably come on and do something. But if not, I'll probably have to see y'all on Monday. But I'm going to try to see if I can squeeze in another show before then. But in the meantime, don't quote me on it. I'm just saying. So in the meantime, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Excuse me. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.